Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, konnichiwa, konbanwa, ohayou gozaimasu, fellow gamers or gamers to be. Welcome to our two Gamer Dads podcast, episode 7. I'm Ian, Gamer Dad 1, and with me is Marv, Gamer Dad 2.
Hello. Oh, my hand is
And
blurred.
and today, usually we'll invite a special guest, but today's guest, I know I say this of every guest, but today's guest is extra special because it's not only a friend, he's family.
Yo.
Today we have my brother-in-law, Justin Hui. Hi, Justin.
Hi, everyone.
Hello.
So much for having me on board.
Yeah, thanks for coming, man. Maybe you can just introduce yourself, just what you do. If you want, you can share a little bit about your family.
Okay, I'm Justin. I'm an editor of a youth website in Singapore, and that's my day job. I'm very happy to be working from home because I have a 2-plus-year-old kid who is running around. He's just started to speak a bit more. He hasn't been going to school, so he's totally homeschooled. In other words, not really speaking very well. But aside from that, I am very, very honored to be in this podcast because I'm not the typical gamer. I've always thought the gamers were very cool, but most of my games are mobile or Game Boy games. So I'm just really happy to be here today. It's such an honor to be one of the top 100 podcasts in Singapore.
In the gaming category.
You must categorize the gaming category.
Okay, never mind. I assume that's a very competitive category anyway.
It totally is. So wait, when you were young, you thought gamers were cool. That's not right.
No, they were really cool. I mean, okay, if you always wanted to play games, but your friends, but you never could afford a very nice gaming PC or something like that, you had to go to LAN shops just to play Warcraft 3. You really did think the cool kids were the ones who had their own gaming rigs at home.
So
actually,
cool kids are
he has a point. He has a point because
true.
when I was growing up,
I had to go to their house just to watch them game, and I had to learn
exactly.
how to
Because
play from them.
That's true.
I didn't have consoles. I didn't have a PS. I had a Sega Saturn, and
Wow.
between the Sega Saturn and my next console, it was Sega Saturn and then PS4. So that's how. Yeah.
You skip 3 generations, 4 generations.
So after the Sega Saturn, my parents never bought me a console. And obviously you can't afford because I was like, primary 5, right? So all my friends who had the PS and the Xbox were the coolest kids in the class. We'll all go to their house and then we'll play. Yeah. So I agree with you. When we were growing up, definitely.
I only had hand-me-down. So I had a Sega Mega Drive 2. And then I was given a PlayStation 1 much later. And I was so happy at that time, only to realize that in Singapore, everyone played pirated games. And because it was given by my overseas relatives, it was
you can't play it.
original games. And so I could only play one game, which was Chocobo Racing and Gran Turismo, yes. So I became really good at racing
games.
that one game.
Oh, that's so sad. Do you remember last time the PlayStation, they had this one, like, they reiterate the PlayStation, right? So that means they'll release the first instance PlayStation, but they will release like a pro version or a special version. And then the PlayStation 1 had this very unique one where you actually had a monitor attached to the PlayStation. Do you guys remember this?
No,
I don't.
So
I
you
remember
could
the
like,
PlayStation Mini.
yeah, so basically you could like flip open the monitor and you didn't need a TV. So it's like a Switch now, except that it's not portable at all. You have to play at home, but you didn't need a TV. So that was pretty cool.
You could play it in your room.
Yes, you could play in your room. Yeah, so I thought maybe before we start into the news, I just thought that it would be cool to give a little bit of background about how Justin and I first met. So because he's my brother-in-law, right? So how we are related is that his sister is my wife. So Marion is his sister. And Justin, do you want to tell the story or do you want me to tell the story?
I think we can both tell the story.
Okay, so I'll start telling the story and you can fill in the gaps. Marv, do you know the story? You went to my wedding, right? Do you know?
I probably heard it, but I may not remember.
Okay, so the funny thing, during the time when I was dating Marianne, her parents were not in Singapore. So I think for how long were they gone? 3 years? 4 years?
I think at least 3 years.
Yeah. Basically almost the whole of like your university years, right? His parents were on this ship called the Logos Hope. It's like a cruise ship that travels to different ports in.
Humanitarian.
Yeah, yeah, he does
Cruise
humanitarian
ship.
work, lah. Okay, yeah, cruise ship, lah. I mean, okay, it's a what do you call this? Refurbished cruise ship. It's a repurposed
Yes,
cruise ship. Repurposed cruise ship. It has like a floating. It has a library inside, and they use it to. It's a Christian organization, so they spread the gospel. But anyway, so they went overseas for like at least 3 years, and during that time, basically Justin was Marianne's like guardian lah,
Guardian.
during that time. Although who took care of who is debatable lah.
What's the age difference again?
3 years. I'm 3 years older.
3 years. Okay lah, that's not too big. But I guess
Mentally
at the age 3 years is a lot.
I
I mean physically, not mentally.
To be fair, Marianne looks up to Justin a lot and says that Justin took care of her during those 3 years lah. So definitely Justin did a lot of things right. But that's not the important part, guys. We're talking about the story of how Justin and I first interacted. So basically, when I didn't date Marianne. Like Marianne and I were friends for a whole year before I decided to start dating her. There's a whole other story behind that. But anyway, not going to go into that. But when I wanted to date her, I wanted to do things right. So I wanted to get the blessing of her parents. But obviously her parents were not around during this time. So I wanted to ask Justin for his blessing to like pursue his sister. I know, very old fashioned, right? But anyway, so during this time I messaged Justin. I think I WhatsApped him, right? And I said, hey, can we meet for dinner? I think I said dinner and then we arranged a time or something like that, right? So basically, it was supposed to be, we were meeting at Nick's. I remember, was it Burger King?
Carl Jr., I think.
Oh, that was when Carl Jr. was still around.
Oh no,
taking
Carl
over-
Jr. is gone now. This makes this story even more like
It's even more sad violin sounds. So I on the way to I because I was the nervous one, right? I'm the one seeking the blessing. Seeking the blessing. So I was messaging him. I was like just like, hey, I'm here early, but don't worry, like take your time. I don't actually remember the exact message of what I sent, but he did say that he was going to be late. Right. Then I think I mentioned something like, don't worry about it, bro. Or something like that. Something along those lines. Don't worry about it, bro. And Mark, can you guess what his message was back to me?
I'm not your bro.
Yeah. I'm not your bro. And I was like, literally,
Shit.
I think. So then Justin, tell them your perspective when you saw
This is
it.
absolutely true, and you need to know the context. So yes, while it's true that Ian was trying to do it right, he was also trying to do it really, really slow. So, like, he'd been going out with my sister for so long, and she was just like, we asked her, are you together? She's like, I don't know, we're not official yet after so long.
He hasn't asked
And
me.
in her heart, she's like, I like this guy. He seems like a nice guy. I don't know why he's not asking me to be his girlfriend. And she's in a position where she can't be the one to ask.
Why not?
She can't go and ask him directly because she would like him to make the first move.
Okay.
So I ended up being the one that she kept confiding in and again for those many months. I was still waiting for this guy. I don't know what's going on. What should I do? So I feel all her emotions. And so when I was given the opportunity to reflect the emotions back, I took it.
Rightly so.
I knew Ian
Give
was
it
a
to
good
him.
guy. I knew I was eventually going to say yes, but might as well let him have a bit of that frustration that Marianne has been pouring on me and return it back to him. So yes, I was intentionally late by half an hour.
Oh, you were intentionally late.
Oh, are you hearing this for the first
I
time?
didn't even know. I thought you were accidentally late. I didn't know you intentionally late.
And then I was a bit curt on WhatsApp. I'm not your bro. And then when he finally expressed his heart in Carl Jr. to me, I said I needed to go to the toilet before giving him an answer.
So
Oh.
It was all
I guess,
good after that.
are you saying that it's my fault that I took so long?
Well, you can ask Marianne that.
No, it all worked out anyway.
I'm glad.
But yeah.
I'm glad Charlene's an only child.
Yeah, exactly. And the funny thing is that her parents didn't give me a hard time at all. Her parents gave me like the blessing almost immediately. I called them because they're on the ship, right? So were like, when you want to call someone on the ship in the middle of the wherever they are, ocean, right? It's like, every minute is precious. So
Yeah.
I couldn't talk to them for long. And so it was very quick. But obviously, I had already done my due diligence, when her parents came back for I think that your mom had a minor op. Then I picked them from the app. I picked them from the hospital, send them home, cook chicken soup for her. I did all my to earn their
He did his part.
trust. Yeah, but they just said yes in like 3 minutes. And then
Because
Justin gave
Marian
me
hadn't been complaining to them every single other time. Oh, what am I waiting for? Is he serious?
Okay, I need to ask Marianne something later. Whether she knew that you were late on purpose. And then the funny thing was that the story doesn't even end there because we wanted to keep this a secret, right? So one thing you must know is that I'm very bad at keeping I'm very bad at keeping surprises. I'm good at keeping secrets is okay, but surprises is bad. Like if I want to surprise someone, usually you just don't tell me lah. Then that's the best way because I will unintentionally spoil it for them. So when we were coming down from Carl's Jr., like we had our meal already, going down to the MRT platform, guess who we saw?
Marianne.
Yeah, Miriam was right there. And then Justin, being very witty and very smart, wanted to play it off that, like, we had also just met in the station. Right? That was your plan, right, Justin?
Yes. So I
And then
didn't want
me,
her to think about it. I didn't
yeah.
want to address it. She'd just think, oh, it's a nice coincidence. So I kept talking about everything else under the sun, kept engaging her all the way home until she got back on the phone with Ian.
Then
I don't remember what I said already. Can you finish the sentence?
You said something along the lines with, wait, what did you say?
Well, I had a nice dinner. I basically revealed that I had a dinner. I had dinner with Justin.
I'm in the toilet after that, minding my own business, and then Marian pops her head in, and I'm like, whoa, you had dinner with Ian?
Okay, yeah, so that's my bad.
uh,
That's my bad. That was when he said bro, but in a different way.
she was probably waiting for you to spill the beans, right?
But it wasn't. Yeah, probably. But it was quite. I think I took a little bit longer after that.
I wanted to ask her in a nice way after that, in an elaborate way, I think.
Yeah, wanted to ask his help.
Yeah. So I only got to tell her about it much later, and then she felt a lot of the, yeah, good, make him feel that.
Vindication.
Vindication, yes.
Later I need to ask Mary. I need to relive the what happened. All right. So that's a little bit of background for our listeners of how Justin and I basically first interacted. But now we are family, so it's okay.
He's really your bro.
After that, everything is an easy conversation,
I'm not your bro. I'm your bro-in-law.
I'm not your bro. Whoa! Imagine he said that shit from the start. Okay, so moving on to some news. So usually we talk about some gaming news. I came up with a list of different things, and we don't need to talk about all of them. But one of the things that we do want to talk about first is about every nowadays the big intellectual properties like Star Wars, Disney, Marvel, they will have like some kind of like Comic-Con or kind of reveal of what they're going to release over the next year. And so DC like people who make Batman Superman recently had their fandom. And Justin, I don't know whether you got to see through
I
that
got to
link
see
that I
some of
sent. Yeah. So maybe before we even touch about all the different individual things, is there something that you're most excited about from the DC fandom?
Batman for me, lah.
The movie, is it?
Yes.
I think
quite
Marv is the
excited
same.
about that.
Yeah, I think the one that I'll say that I watched the entire thing just now. I assume my boss is not listening, but I was watching during work hours. Well, I mean, I had it on the screen and then I was doing work on the other screen also. But yeah, I watched all 3 hours of it. I think the trailer for Batman stood out the most, lah. The Robert Pattinson one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe the game Gotham Knights looks pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So wait, going back to the Batman movie, right? Justin, did you know that Robert Pattinson was going to be the next Batman before
Yes,
this?
I knew. So I knew from the first trailer. So this is the second, I think, trailer coming out.
Yeah. So what was because I remember when Marv and our group of gamer friends first saw the news that Robert freaking Pattinson, Edward Cullen from Twilight is going to
Cedric
be
Diggory from Harry Potter.
Cedric Diggory. Actually, Cedric Diggory gonna be Batman is not so bad. But you tell me Edward Cullen is going to be the next Batman. I think we were all kind of like, what the heck is going on? Did you have the same reaction?
I was okay though. I was quite alright because I think it's been a while since Twilight, and I think it helped that I didn't watch any of the Twilight stuff. So I know he was involved in that, but I don't have a colored perception of him.
Oh wait,
from
you've
that.
never watched Twilight?
You mean you guys watch Twilight? I thought you were cool boomer dads.
Yes, I have watched Twilight.
Okay,
I watched
okay.
it twice.
That's what makes us cool now. You watched it twice?
I watched it once when it came out, then I watched it once more when it was on Netflix, like just a couple of months ago.
I didn't watch it. I've only watched the first 20 minutes of the first movie. And then when he turned gold, he glows, right? When
He
sunlight hits
glitters.
him.
He glitters.
He glitters, and then I
Sparkles.
straight away turned it off. I was like, I can't take this anymore. Like, what the heck's going on?
I read the book during army.
I would say that I did enjoy the books for, for the trash
Really?
that it is, for the fast food that it is.
It was not too bad though.
Yeah,
The
it's
book was-
fast food lah. It's fast food.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I would definitely rather read the book than watch the movie. Just because the movie just seemed okay, but anyway, maybe I'm trashing the movie too much. We're gonna decrease our followers after this. When I trash Twilight. But actually I think after watching, so I never really watched anything that Robert Pattinson did apart from Cedric
Tenet?
Diggory and Edward Cullen.
Tenet?
But did you watch Tenet?
You watched it?
Did you watch Tenet? Just
No, I didn't.
so Tenet is
Oh, we
that
never
you should watch
watched
it.
Okay, yeah, you should watch it.
I want to.
Tenet is good. Yeah. So after watching Tenet, and he's like the supporting actor, like I don't even think he's supporting. He could be the main actor.
He's one of the main actors, I would say.
Yeah, he's very prominent in the
Okay,
movie.
slow down here. I know Ian always likes to spoil movies by talking about the twist.
Even Justin knows.
Don't tell me it's a good
No.
movie. You say, "Wow, it's a great movie because of the twist at the end." What?
It's hard to spoil Tenet though because
Okay.
it's so complicated that it's hard to spoil it. Like you can't say one sentence and the movie is spoiled.
Okay.
Right, Marv?
Yeah,
Right?
yeah, that's true. That is true.
Like even for me to explain Tenet, right, it would take like many.
If you wanted to
paragraphs
spoil
explain.
Tenet, you have to spend like 5 minutes explaining what the
Okay.
shit.
Yeah, the
I
movie.
see.
Okay, but anyway, after watching Tenet, I think I was like, okay, Robert Pattinson can act, and he can act in some like capacity. And anyway, to me, when you watch Batman, there is Batman and there is Bruce Wayne.
Yep.
Right. So to me, the Batman acting is not difficult because he's in a mask. He's just growling all the time. All that kind of thing. But then it's the Bruce Wayne portion which that convinced me he can do that.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I think when I had my reaction to this trailer was a bit like in fact, the first trailer when I saw Robert Pattinson, it was a similar reaction that I had to Heath Ledger's Joker, as in such a intense character suddenly appearing, you get quite intrigued and want to know more. So such an intense Batman, I've not actually seen before. I always thought the people who played Batman were very intense, but this seems like an even more intense version of what I didn't think would be even more intense. So I'm quite interested to see. And I thought Nolan's one was a realistic take on Batman, but this seems to be an even more realistic take in that he's not a multi-billionaire. He has to make his own car. Like his Batmobile looks like something that
He's his car.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's a throwback to the Adam West design, I think. The original, the TV series. So this Batman is actually like he just became Batman like I don't know 1 or 2 years or something like that. Yeah. So he's still
kind of an
struggling with
origin,
being, the line between Bruce Wayne and Batman lah. So that's
And I
what
think he's also
this
struggling.
Yeah, about his rage, right? His anger, and then how to.
What does justice mean or vengeance?
Yep.
To Batman means. I know it's very interesting because DC is going down this route where they're with this movie, it's going to be obviously much more serious and darker than any of the Marvel movies that we've watched. I just think that DC hasn't really hit a good
stride.
movie that is good in its serious tone, right? Like their best DC movie is arguably Wonder Woman 1.
Woman, yeah.
That's
I would
their
say Wonder
best
Woman.
movie. Wonder Woman, maybe Aquaman.
Dark Knight.
No, Dark Knight doesn't really. I mean, I would say the Nolan trilogies. The Nolan trilogy.
I mean, we're talking about
me,
DCEU,
doesn't
right?
count.
Yeah.
Like he doesn't Christian Bale doesn't exist in
Correct.
their universe.
Robert Pattinson exists in DCE.
Yes. So he's their Batman, just like how Tom Holland is MCU's Spider-Man. Like Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield doesn't exist.
Replacing the Ben Affleck character, or is it a different
I think
character?
he is. He's supposed to replace it, right? But isn't Ben Affleck's contract up already?
Yeah,
They're not
as
going.
in, he's out of the DCEU, but that version of Batman
I have
is
no idea. That's a good question. That's the problem with DC, right? They have so many different actors going through. They even have like like the Flash movie, right? They have what's his name, Ezra Miller, right? Is it Ezra Miller? But then they have Grant Gustin, who's the TV
The
Flash.
TV version, yeah.
So it's super convenient for DC because they have their TV spin-offs have different actors from their movie spin-offs.
Okay, let me
Which
find
is-
out.
Like there's no such issue in Marvel. Right? Iron Man is Iron Man. Robert Downey Jr. is Iron Man.
yeah, true. Because I think I think for DC they have got success in different areas in
Yep.
different ways rather than in a unified way. Versus Marvel
Yeah.
came out right from the start.
With a planned cinematic.
Okay, it says that the Matt Reeves Batman is not part of the DC EU. It's a standalone, like Joker.
Oh, so Robert Pattinson is not the EU Batman, basically. Oh, that's interesting.
That's what I'm reading lah. From
Because Batman is the
Yeah.
EU Batman, ma.
That's true.
yeah.
Although
So
he's
you
not
know,
a-
like Joker, the Joker show, that's movie. It's a standalone one. It's
Yeah.
not
with
part
Joaquin Phoenix.
Yeah, correct.
That's actually a very good DC. That's a very good DC movie. So I think they're trying to try along the same vein of Joker, where it's like a very serious. They get a lot of good actors. Yeah, it's kind of like But anyway, I'm excited for that. When does it come out?
March 2022.
Next year, right? Yeah.
That's fast. That's sooner than I thought.
Yeah,
But
even
it's
sooner than my baby.
been in production for damn long already. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, it's coming out before. It's coming out after the Eternals, right? Eternals is end of the year, right?
No, Eternals is like
November.
next month. Yeah, next
November.
month.
Yeah, but then it comes out before the next Marvel movie, the next one after Eternals, which is it Thor 4 or Black Panther? I can't
I
remember.
thought there's something in December. Spider-Man.
Spider-Man 4 is in Spider-Man. It's in December. Wow.
No Way Home is in December.
So we have Spider-Man and Eternals coming up. Oh, that's a
Yes. So Carnage is out, right? Carnage. Yeah. Venom. Then
spoiler. I was kidding.
Yeah. Venom. Then Eternals. Then Spider-Man. Yeah. And I haven't seen Venom, by the way. So
I neither have I.
yeah, I want to watch it though.
There's so many movies I want to watch the new Bond movie also. No Time to Die.
Oh, I have spoilers for that, but
No time to watch. No time to do.
I'll keep it to myself. I haven't watched it too, but I read spoilers. So
No, so that's can you imagine you don't watch it and you spoil it with text? Wow. I know it is Daniel Craig's final Bond movie though. That one is not spoiler.
I wonder who's gonna be the next Bond.
You think it's gonna be what's his name? There was rumors, right? That it was gonna be who's Loki? What's Loki's real name?
Holland.
Tom Hiddleston.
Oh yeah, Tom Holland. I guess Tom Holland could be Loki. I could be James Bond.
It would be a very interesting one.
No, I know who I want. Okay, can you guys tell me who you think, who you want to be the next Bond? I already have one that I already want to be the next Bond.
Jamie says Idris Elba. That's a good one.
That is my choice.
Yeah.
I was gonna say I want Idris Elba to be, but he won't be because he's black.
Ooh, that's racist.
They're not gonna make Bond black.
That.
Sorry.
I'll say Henry Cavill.
Okay. No.
Easy choice, man.
Okay,
Henry Cavill. Come on.
Yeah, he's too.
He's too busy,
yeah,
lah. He's too busy now.
And he's too like what's his name? Daniel Craig is like the buff, angry, Bond. I think they're going to go back to the more suave, Pierce Brosnan Bond. That's what I think. But anyway, Justin, who do you think, or who do you want?
Really don't know because I don't know whether Bond is overstaying his time. The kind of super spy idea is from the previous decade, and I don't know whether I don't know how that translates into your modern day. The past few Bond movies have always shown him as like coming out of retirement just to clean up some of the old villains rather than a much of a new and modern kind of enemy.
But I would say for Daniel Craig's Bond, he's quite unique because he actually has a storyline. So starting from his first movie was
it's like all connected, right?
Was it Quantum of Solace his first one? Or was it Casino Royale?
No, I think it was Casino Royale. Quantum of Solace
I think it's Casino Royale. So starting
Yeah.
from Casino Royale all the way up to this one, right? There is, even though the villains change, right? But there is a branching. There's a narrative thread
Yes.
for him and his girlfriend
It's like
or slash lover.
the
Yeah,
the Bond CU, the Bond
yeah.
cinematic universe.
Oh, but the thing is that every time it comes to a new villain, you realize that this new villain is actually the boss of all the old villains before. You use that too many
It's
times.
like the Russian door, you open up the
Yeah.
you open it, oh, another door.
Really.
Oh,
The previous time round, it seems like every single villain before this was under him. Then now there's still one more movie. I'm like, oh no,
Do you think they'll make it more like Marvel? Because Bond is quite serious, especially the Daniel Craig's Bond. It's like, I
No,
don't know.
but
Do you think they'll
that's
make?
the thing. The Daniel Craig's Bond is a standout from all the other Bonds
Yeah,
because
He's
almost
brooding
all the
Bond.
other Bonds are a bit more comical, right?
yeah,
Like a
yeah.
bit more not realistic. They have like weird
Yeah.
stuff going on, even the gadgets and all that.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think they'll go back to that though? That's my question.
I don't know. I hope not.
All right. We went a little off track there, but anyway, just some last thoughts for the DC fandom. I think the games look great. I love. Justin, you never played the Arkham games, right?
No, but I watched
The
the story.
Batman Arkham.
I watched
Oh,
the
you
story.
did.
I love it.
Nice.
It's
Yeah,
so
it's so good. So I think even though DC has made some of the worst movies compared to Marvel, I think arguably they have made the better games, especially because of the Batman series. Like the only Marvel game that has been recently good is Spider-Man. Right? All the previous Marvel games have kind of been a flop, but Batman has been good. So I'm very excited for Gotham Knights, which takes like four of them, right? Takes four of
Yep.
the Gotham
The sidekicks.
the sidekicks lah, and puts them in the Court of Our Story.
Yep.
And then the Suicide Squad game looks super interesting also. Yeah, so
Yeah.
excited for that. That's coming out. Second part of the news I'm talking about is the International 2021. So for those who don't know, I think I kind of mentioned this a little bit to Justin when he came over on Sunday. But recently, Dota, which is a online game, strategy game 5v5, recently had their world tournament at Romania this year, and the prize pool was $41 million. Was it $41 million?
$43 million, I think.
$43 million. And the winner gets $18 million
USD.
US dollars, right?
Yep.
Which is insane. And the cool thing, for those who don't know, I play Dota a lot. So I think I have like 3,000 over hours in Dota on Steam. Marv doesn't really play. He plays a little bit, but he's
I
not an active player.
have a few
I
hundred
would say
hours in
like
Dota also lah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I do. I mean, I used to
Okay.
play quite a bit of Dota last time. I have 213 hours on Steam.
Oh, that's okay. That's quite a lot. Justin, have you ever played Dota 2?
No, I'm not. I stopped at Warcraft 3.
Okay, like 5.84C is it? Did you ever play like Dota 1?
No.
No. Oh, wow.
Maybe I played it once, but I didn't know what I was doing, and I didn't continue.
Yeah. To be fair, Dota is really complex, right? Because you have like 100 over heroes. Each hero has their own skill set. Even though the game itself is very simple, it's 3 lanes, destroy the enemy's building before he destroys your building. But anyway, the cool thing about this international, which I just wanted to, I don't know whether Marv wants to chime in here, is that the underdog won. And it was a ridiculous story. Like,
Yep.
okay, so the favorite to win is a Chinese team. They are PSG LGD. PSG is like this big French company, right? And then the Chinese team is like sponsored by them.
Paris Saint-Germain.
Yeah, and they are huge. Like they won almost every tournament leading up to and in the international itself, they made it through the whole winners bracket, losing one match. They lost one match only.
Two
So they
matches,
were
right?
waiting. No, they lost one in the group stage and then one
yeah,
on
correct.
in the
So
bracket.
they just dropped 2 games only, but they won every single match.
Yes.
Wow.
So they won every single series basically.
Yep.
If they fought you for more than 3 games, they would beat you. So they got to the finals and they were just waiting. And then there's this Russian team who nobody called Team Spirit. Nobody expected them to win anything. Maybe like everybody was like at best 6th place at best. They beat all the best teams. They went through the lower bracket. So in Dota, when you play, if you get knocked down to lowest bracket, you have a harder chance. So they beat everybody to lowest bracket. They went up, faced these giants, and they beat them 3-2. It was crazy. Marv and I watched it together online.
So the funny thing about Team Spirit is that they actually posted a video of their hotel room. So all the teams are given hotel rooms based on the amount of points that they qualified at. So the teams that have qualified, basically
lowest.
number one seed, right, will get the biggest
yeah.
room. So
Yeah.
Team Spirit was one of the lowest, right? I think they were
They
they
were the
were
lowest.
they were the
They
lowest.
didn't get enough points. They qualified through the qualifiers.
Yes, they
So
weren't
they
even
didn't have
like
enough points.
the first batch to qualify, and their room was so small that they had to. So Dota is 5v5, right? They had to put all the PCs in the kitchen, and
Yeah.
it was so tight that they couldn't stand up in the chairs after they sat down.
Yeah.
So
as you
basically
said,
they
it's
couldn't
trapped.
push their chair. Yeah,
Yeah.
and
And they had
and
to play
that
the whole group stage of it.
and they didn't even have toilet roll, like toilet paper in their toilets.
Yeah.
That was
That's
how bad
crazy.
it was. So they went from no toilet roll team to 18 million USD.
Oh.
Yeah. And it's crazy because they lost. They beat LGD the first two games, and the first two games. So it's the best of 5.
Yeah.
So they were like, Marv and I were like, what the heck? Are they just gonna 3-0 the favorites? But I told Marv, in Dota, right, every game is a new game. Like you just reset every game. So then LGD came back so it was 2-2. And then on the last game, I don't know what the heck LGD was doing. They picked very bad heroes, but Spirit just like totally killed them in that game.
Wow.
And then it's quite crazy. So that's really a Cinderella story.
Yeah, the youngest, I think the youngest player on Spirit is an 18-year-old boy.
Yeah, is it Toronto Tokyo? Is it the mid player?
Yeah, I can't remember, but I know he's 18 years old. And if we're not wrong, based on the previous winners, each of them will take home at least 3 million USD.
Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah, after paying off their sponsorships and all that.
Texas. Yeah.
Oh, why are you paying off their sponsorships?
Because all the
like,
teams
they're
they are
sponsored by a
sponsored,
team,
right? Yeah, so the team will take a cut, and then they will have to pay
yeah.
the sponsors and all that.
Even if the cut would be that big, like $1 million maybe.
Yeah,
I thought you sponsor the team is to get publicity, not to get money back.
they have to pay the fees and all that lah.
They have to pay for their hotel expenses and everything,
Yeah.
when their travel expenses. So
They
it's
have
like
to-
kind
they
of
pay the
like
coach, they have to
your
pay the-
employer lah.
Yeah,
I see.
they have to pay the organization basically.
If you get that 3 million prize money, what do you do? Like
So
most
win
of us
another-
that get prize money will say, okay, we can quit our work and we can play.
That's
Dota."
that's a good question.
You win next year.
That's a good
You win
question.
next year.
because after they won, the captain was interviewed. So he's Russian, right? Was interviewed by one of the hosts,
Hosts,
and then the host asked like, so will we see you guys back here again next year? And then he replied in like very broken English like, we'll see. So much money, don't know whether I want to play Dota anymore, something like that.
No, but honestly, even if you're not like, okay, to put into perspective, right? The last place, that means there are 18 teams in international. The last place gets $100,000. That's the disparity. Even the second place team, so LGD,
Gets 5
still takes
million.
back $5 million. Like they're not going home with like nothing. So you don't need to feel sad for them. I mean, you feel sad for them because they should have won. They should have won. But I'm not like, oh no, poor LGD, $5 million only. Right? It's yeah. But so I think they'll be back next year because they are all very young and they're all very talented. Like they peaked. They can only even if they get second or third next year, it's a big chunk of change.
I see. But it's so much. As in, once you turn that into a
Yeah,
sport, you are an athlete. It is quite.
you are.
It's quite a lot to train and work for. It's not easy.
Yeah, it's not. People who say like, oh, they're only playing a game. I say you play you're gonna get trashed. Like it takes skill to play what they play.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Consistently.
All right, moving on to a little bit of what we're doing now. So I wanted to ask because recently, on Disney Plus, see we're talking about Disney Plus now, moving away from DC now. There was a series called What If, right, which is a spin-off. It's an animated cartoon. It has 9 episodes, and it talks about what if the Marvel Cinematic Universe. That means the first phase 1 to phase 3, basically until Avengers Endgame. What if things change differently, right? Like what if? And I think the first episode was what if Steve Rogers didn't take the super serum.
Yep.
Right. Yeah. So and then the whole story will play out. So maybe I'll just ask, what do you think of the series overall?
Justin, you want to go first?
I think it started slow. I didn't really. I thought the first few were just a bit meh. I watched it because I am obliged to, having interviewed the MCEU.
Yeah.
But it really picked up towards the end. There were some really strong stories, and I especially loved the story regarding Killmonger. I thought that was such an incredible take and made him out to be such a deep character, even more so than he was in Black Panther.
Mm. So maybe we preface this as those who are tuning in, we will probably dip a little bit into spoiler territory. And even though each episode is kind of contained, I would say the last two episodes, there is things to spoil, because it is not just a self-contained story anymore. So 3, 2, 1. Okay, you have been warned. Marv, what do you like about the series? What do you think of it?
I would say that I was a little surprised that it was all connected.
Yeah.
I thought it would all be individual stories, but then after the initial like 3 seconds of surprise, I was like, this is typical Marvel. Even the what if has to be a what if CEO,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I enjoyed it. I think it was a bit different. Of course, at the end they gave us the Guardians of the Multiverse, which is kind of like a Avengers thing again, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It was different enough that I enjoyed it lah. I just didn't think that Ultron
Yes.
should
I was
have
going to say that. Okay,
been
good. Finish it.
like I didn't think Ultron is a
Was a
good final
villain.
boss.
Yes, I also think so.
Yeah. And I also don't understand how his Infinity Gems,
Are
stones,
stronger.
can work. Yes, can work outside
The
of his universe.
multiverse.
Correct? It
Yeah.
doesn't make sense, right? Because his powers should be contained to his universe,
Yeah. How is
right?
he so freaking powerful? How is he stronger than the Watcher, the guy who
Yeah,
controls the multiverse?
yeah. So that to me didn't make any logical sense. But then again,
It's Marvel.
it's Marvel.
I felt a bit sad that there
Yeah.
was a missing episode though.
It's not what?
There was a missing episode.
Where do you think? As in, where would you have put the missing episode?
Gamora and Tony Stark.
Yeah, that's right. Actually,
I
that's true.
read up a bit more.
Oh
There's
yeah.
actually a missing episode that they didn't. I think they had to drop out because of whatever other reason. So we're
Oh,
missing one story in there.
but they still put her in the final scenes, in the final episodes.
Really. And
Yeah.
Lego had the model. So Lego came
Oh,
out with that model, and so I was already expecting it to come, and then I'm like, I
that
felt
would
like
have been interesting. What
yeah,
if Gamora had, I don't know, like I guess in this case he would have turned earlier and survived instead of dying, right? Did she die? She died, right? In Endgame?
Uh, yes.
She died,
I
right?
mean,
She died, right?
the
Gamora
version of
died,
her
right?
died lah.
Yeah.
Died in
Yeah.
Infinity War.
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I firstly I want to say that I love the animation quality. I
Mm.
think you can say whatever you want about like the story, but I think the fight scenes, animation quality for all the episodes were really good.
Very nice.
I think maybe because it's just 9 episodes, they can afford to put a bit more care into it. I don't know whether it's the reason. But I actually think I would have preferred if all 9 episodes were just self-contained. Like I didn't feel like I needed that last 2 episodes to be like, what if the Watcher intervened, right? Like what if he put in? I felt like it was it's so predictable, but yet so to me a little bit unnecessary. Like I would have been totally fine with the 9th episode being just another what if story, and then that's it. I enjoyed watching all 9 episodes, and I can say which is my favorite. So my favorite episode was probably, was it the zombie one?
Oh,
I think the zombie one.
That was good.
Most interesting one. It was the most like, because a lot of the what if is just like a tiny change. Like when Agent Carter became Captain America instead. That's like, it's basically just like Steve Rogers, just a girl now. Right. But this one felt like the most, I was like, what the heck's going on with this, right? Yeah. So any thoughts behind what if before we move on?
I assume there's going to be a season 2.
There definitely will be lah. I'm pretty sure it will be.
Yeah.
But I don't think it will happen so soon actually. I think it will happen like after
Yeah.
the next,
I think it'll take a while. Maybe like
after the next phase 4, phase 5.
yeah,
then
maybe
they'll
2
do
more
another.
phases.
Yeah.
Yeah.
because they didn't touch like Spider-Man. They didn't touch a few IPs, right?
They can't do Spider-Man because
It doesn't belong to them.
yeah, it doesn't belong to them.
Spider-Man is the main character of the zombies.
Oh yeah, that's true. That's true.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh yeah, he is. He is. You're right. You're right. You're right.
You see in here, the main characters in the
Oh, you have
And
to
there's
take also.
Gamora. Is there Gamora?
yeah, there's Gamora, there is Spider-Man with the cape, there is yeah, all the cool stuff.
I
Oh,
just yeah. Now that you mention it, I remember because he wasn't voiced by Tom Holland.
Yeah, there were a few people that I think only a few did it. Like Benedict Cumberbatch did Doctor Strange. That one I know.
Actually, most of them are,
Really?
except Steve Rogers and Spider-Man.
and
Oh,
Drax.
serious. Drax was just.
Oh, Drax
weird.
wasn't also.
But anyway.
Okay.
But I think he had like one line in that Thor one, right?
Yeah.
He was like, "Yeah, you party pooper," or something like that. I can't remember.
Yep.
Okay. Anyway, moving on. I have. Justin, are you watching anything in particular now?
No, I am a bit commitment phobic, so I'm very scared to start on anything. Like when I started on What If, I really felt I needed to keep watching and watching and finishing watching several in a night, and I have a bit of freedom now to not watch anything. I'm scared to commit. I would like to watch some of the movies that I still haven't got a chance to watch yet. Suicide Squad, I haven't got a chance to watch yet. The Snyder Cut of Justice League, I haven't got to watch yet. I am looking forward to watching.
Oh, but that's also a commitment. That's like four.
That's a 4-hour commitment.
Yeah, but I know it's just one movie. It's mentally a bit
long. 4 hours is like practically can be some series.
No, that's true. What if it's about that?
Yeah, but okay, I think it is a good. I think Snyder Cut is a good movie if you can last through the 4 hours.
Should have joined us when we did a screening at the other Ian's house.
Oh, I don't think I have 4 hours to spare at one shot though. I'll have to watch it over.
To be fair, it was really long. Like I think it would have been better if I had a break in between.
Okay. My wife says the same about Endgame.
Endgame isn't that long.
My wife was
It's
pregnant.
3 hours. Oh yeah.
Was heavily pregnant and needed to pee, but then I'm like, no, it's the interesting part. You cannot go.
Apparently, Eternals is going to be 2.5 hours, something like that.
Ooh.
Alright.
Yeah.
I mean,
So-
I love long movies as long as it's not draggy.
I was actually
I'm
watching the red carpet of Eternals this morning.
Okay.
Yeah, they were
Are the-
streaming it live.
Are the early reviews out? Do you know?
No, I haven't checked, but I mean, I'm just gonna watch it because
Yeah.
it's MCU, right? Yeah.
We're committed.
I mean, I'm excited too because it's by Chloe Zhao, so that'll be interesting. Okay. I don't really want to. Justin, can I just ask you a question? Have you ever watched Avatar: The Last Airbender?
No.
Oh, okay. See, it's not just me, Marv.
And Jamie.
Jamie's gonna ask you. Jamie's gonna ask you now to watch it. Did you ever was it ever like on your radar when you were a kid?
No.
Yeah, it was never on my radar.
It's a Nickelodeon show lah. So I mean, if you didn't have cable or all that, you wouldn't know about it.
He didn't have a PlayStation. Why would he have cable? No,
It's true. At the time, the cool things for my friends were anime.
Oh,
My friends were all talking
So,
about like Samurai X, that kind of, but they never really have
Okay.
a chance on radar.
okay. I won't talk about Atla this episode. Maybe another episode. Do you want to talk about New World at all?
Yeah, sure. I mean, it's something that I'm playing now, right?
Yeah.
Like, as in, not now, but you get what
Are
I mean.
you? Maybe you're farming.
Yeah,
wood
actually,
now,
I
don't
am.
know.
I'm running around chopping wood. But yeah, so New World. I know we talked about it the last episode, right? When Ian Kwan was on.
Maybe you explain to Justin because I don't think he knows what New World is.
Have you heard of New World, Justin? So
Not
is
yet.
this new game that came out from Amazon, like Amazon the company? Why it's so significant is because they have failed multiple times, at least twice, before they put out an actual working game. Yeah. So they actually had 3 projects and they canned the first 2 and then they cancelled the Lord of the Rings one.
Yep, Lord of the Rings.
Yep. So then they launched this game. So it's an MMO. I'm sure you know what MMOs are, right? And it's based on very like colonial times when like people are going to a new land to settle on. You take over the land, you become like the governor. It's that kind of setting where people use muskets and rapiers, that kind of stuff. Yeah, headshots, So the game is very the end game rather, it's very PvP, player versus player. So the goal, or rather a big part of the end game, is to own as much territories as possible for your factions. For your faction. So there are 3 factions in the game. And then when you hit level 10, you choose to join a faction. And then there will be like, you can like declare war on each other's town, and then it's a huge like 50 versus 50 kind of thing. Then the winner will take over that land. Then they can, set like how much tax they wanna put, like how many percent they wanna put on, like, the crafting, the property and all that kind of stuff. It's almost real world simulator kind of ish. So the server that I was playing on, one of the main towns that everybody goes to trade in, was actually owned by this faction. We call them purple faction. So there are three colors lah. I think purple, white, and green. So I'm in green. And what happened was that the purple faction that was in charge of the town that I was in, they raised the tax to the maximum, which is 20%. So basically every week, right? So let's say if you buy a house for 5K, you have to pay,
1K
1,000 gold
to keep your
keep ownership of your house every week. And 1,000 gold may not seem like a lot, but it actually requires you to play quite a bit lah, because there's so much
Yeah.
other things that you want to do with gold, right? Like you want to level up your I don't know, your leather working, or your jewel crafting, that kind of stuff. It all requires gold. So what happened was, because they did that, right?
They
Even their
invaded purple.
own purple people were angry with them, and when
Wow.
green declared war on purple, right, nobody showed up to defend it.
Wow.
So
So now
my
Green
faction,
is in charge.
yeah, took over. And let me see. I think they dropped the what do you call it? The
I mean,
tax.
this is literally capitalism at work.
Yeah, it
Right.
is. It is. They I can't see the tax. Oh, they dropped the tax
Okay,
to
so
8% instead of 20%.
lah.
So people are like, okay, like we're happy with you in charge.
20% is ridiculous though, right? Like
Yeah,
the
it's
idea
ridiculous.
of
You need to play
20%
a
tax.
lot. You need to play like every day to maintain.
Mm.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's that kind of game lah. So I decided to try it because I'm playing WoW, but then I decided to take a break from WoW. And then I bought it. It's like 50 sing. There's no subscription involved. Yeah, and it's very different from a
The
traditional
regular
MMO.
MMO. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah, there's so many things you can do. You can literally like just spend all your time saying that I want to level up jewel crafting because I want to make rings and necklaces to sell. So there was this guy who made like 120,000 gold in like a few days because he just pumped like all his time doing nothing but farming ore and then making jewelry. Yeah.
That
And the cool
sounds
thing is
so
that you
sad.
can level, you get a significant amount of EXP just through
That's
crafting.
by crafting.
Yeah. So yeah, it kind of caters to a lot of different kind of playstyles. I would say I'm pleasantly surprised, but I'm apprehensive of what the end game can be, because if it's only like, if it's a huge part of it's only PvP, then what happens when like all the territories get taken over by the one faction? Then there is kind of like suddenly there's no more
incentive to. Yep.
yeah, there's nobody to fight you anymore if you become the overwhelming faction. Yeah.
Hey,
So
that's also capitalism.
yeah, we'll see. It's
That's-
really
that's-
like real life
That
simulator.
is Jeff Bezos' dream. When he sees that like all green faction, okay, this server is a success. This is how Amazon works.
But okay,
Boom.
so the funny thing is that it's made by Amazon, right? But there is no delivery or mail system in the game. You literally have to run to a different town if you want to pass somebody something.
No, Marv, they are waiting to charge you for it.
I think so too.
They are waiting. They are letting you play the game. Then they say, okay, how you pay $3 for that permanent?
As a courier, then.
And it's made by Amazon, right? But the auction house, the stuff that like the trading place, you can't. There's like minimal search functions. Yeah.
No, that's a paid function. Too
Like
soon to be coming.
you can't even, like, let's say I wanna buy strawberries. You can't type straw and then press enter and then like it will search strawberries for you. You have to
You just
type
type the exact amount.
strawberry and then press enter. I'm like, what? Amazon, come on. Yeah.
Okay,
But
they'll change
okay
it.
lah. I would say I'm having fun, but
Yeah.
I'll see how the end game goes lah.
The point in development of the internet inside the game is a real
Maybe.
in medieval times.
Hey, sometimes I wonder whether people actually like like do game developers intentionally leave out? I mean, I know
Oh,
for certain single player games they
I'm sure
intentionally
they
leave out
do.
things to charge you for it later.
I'm sure they do. I'm sure they hold back features so that they can implement
Yeah.
them later and say, hey, look, we're listening to you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, cough, Blizzard, cough.
I think some of it could just be the fact that it's not very advertisable. Like,
Mm.
I won't advertise my game and say, oh, there's a search function when you. No, it's just taken for granted a bit. But I'd rather spend more time building something that would actually draw people. And then these kind of things add in later on after people complain.
That's true. That's true as well. Um, okay, I'm actually I wanted to talk. The next topic was going to be Pokemon. And we will talk about Pokemon, but I thought maybe let's go into a non-gamer topic first before we, because I foresee Pokemon to be a topic that we're going to talk about for a long time. So let's talk firstly about children. So, Justin is the most
Boring.
experienced children. No, I was gonna say I was gonna say like Justin would be the most experienced because he has the oldest child among us, but I could say he's also the biggest child among us.
That's true. That's
Yeah.
true.
So recently, I think Marv also experienced this, but maybe Justin, you can share a little bit about. I saw on your Instagram how you were trying to discipline. Okay, so how you were trying to discipline your son, and how it backfired in your face.
So, okay, I'm trying to figure out the way to make him understand that what he's doing is making me angry or making the adults around angry. Because some of the things he does are dangerous, or some of it is just very antisocial behavior. And I don't want to beat him. Like I really want to leave that as the absolute last resort, and I don't want to, especially if he's just trying to be a bit curious and annoying. I don't want to be pulling a corporal punishment. But I couldn't figure what's the best way to communicate to him that I'm angry with him. So I'll pull him aside, go to a naughty corner. He laughs at me. I try and talk sternly to him. He laughs at me. I really couldn't figure out what to do. So I'm like, okay, what instances in my life did that kind of message get communicated to me? Then I remembered in the army, people shout very loud and very fast. So I gave that a try. I shouted at him like, "Hey!" Then he jumped, suddenly looking scared, and I realized, oh, this is working. But the next day, he started to shout very loudly, very fast as well, because he realized that's a good way to express anger. So I'm like, oh no, this is really bad.
Yeah, they learn the behavior, right?
And he's in the stage where he's mimicking everything. So how I express happiness, he expresses it the same way. He laughs the same way. He jumps and is excited. But how I express frustration and anger, he's also doing. He mimics my mom when she says, "Argh." So you have this little kid grunting all over when he's upset when he drops something. At the same time, he started to shout when he's upset, which is not good when I'm trying to shout at him and he's trying to shout back, and it just doesn't work out. So yeah, I posted it on my Instagram, and one of my psychologist friends got back to me, and she asked, "Why is it important for him to know that you're angry?" And then I'm like, "Oh wait, that's very interesting a thought. I thought that was the point." Then I realized I'm I want him to know that I'm angry, so that he'll feel guilty, and so that he'll listen to me. In other words, I'm actually using a bit of an emotional manipulation on him, rather than actually just teaching him that what he's doing is wrong.
Yeah.
So it's actually possible to teach him that what he's doing is wrong without bringing my emotions into it. And I didn't realize this until this morning, but I realized that's how we all grew up. Our parents were always like guilt tripping us using that relationship that they had with us
Yep.
as the most normal thing.
Or
And now
shouting
I'm
at us.
thinking, that's what I'm doing to my son, and that's what happened to me. And is that why I'm so empathetic towards everything, because I'm so afraid to make people angry? Wow, quite a moment that came upon me this morning.
I
Yeah.
I understand what you're saying because, I mean, so Meredith she just turned 1. Yeah, so she's almost 1 year and 1 month old lah, almost lah, in a week's time. Wow, damn fast. Feels like I just celebrated her birthday, and she's reached the point where she's also mimicking, and she's also pushing her boundaries. She knows when you don't want her to do something, but she will still try. Yeah. So I was also like discussing with Sherilyn, with my wife, how do we let her know, or how do we tell her that what she's doing is wrong? Because she knows that when she wants something, and she seems to know when she's not allowed to do something. But
Just
she's too young for you to explain the logic behind it. Yeah. She knows the consequence, but she doesn't know the logic behind the consequence.
yeah.
Yeah. So the other day
Yeah.
she had a meltdown.
Meltdown.
Yeah, she had a meltdown because she wanted to draw with her
The
crayons
crayon,
on
is
the
it?
floor, and then I
The
took
great
it
crayon
away, and then she had
incident.
a meltdown, and then I was like, yeah. So I lost my cool also because she had a meltdown, and then I had a mini meltdown. So I also raised my voice at her, and then she got even more angry. Yeah. So I realized, and I mean, it's a thing that occurs after a while. You try different methods. So I realized that for my girl, because now she's still too young, what I do is I distract her with something else. I try to distract her with something else.
Yeah.
When she wants something that I don't want her to touch, or don't want to give it to her, I try to distract her with something else that I don't mind her playing with. Yeah. But I'm also thinking, when she's a bit older, maybe another year from
How
now,
to
when she's like Caleb's age, yeah, how am I going to teach her? It's a learning process, lah, for sure. And what your friend says is right. They don't have to know that we are angry. It's more of they have to know that what they
learn.
want to do is not good, or not, or dangerous, or wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because if not, once we are removed from the picture, they're not going to be still. It's not
Yeah.
really tied to our presence.
Yeah.
I think what you're saying is also something that is hitting me, because I feel like some of the things they really cannot understand at this age, and it also is not so right to punish them for things that they find very hard. Like at this age, their sense of they're very impulsive. They do whatever comes to mind, and it's very hard for them to say no to that. You don't show them something they want and expect them not to
Yeah.
use it. If you give them crayons, they are going to want to draw with it. So I also don't feel like it's not so right for me sometimes to be punishing him for some of these things that are quite his nature to want to be interested and curious in. I have found something is useful is that, for example, if he plays dangerously, jumps on the bed, that kind of thing, I just stand by lah. I let him jump and jump. I tell him no, 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 and then when he starts to trip or something, I grab him. So I catch his fall, but I make sure it's like halfway down, and then he realizes and panics.
That
So
is, yeah.
immediately the lesson is in. He knows, and when I put him back, I don't even need to say anything. He knows. Okay, that was dangerous. That was close. I don't fence him up too much that he doesn't fall, but I catch him when he falls. I don't know what to do now that he's putting things in his mouth, because I cannot. It's a different matter altogether.
Leather the item with chili padi. You will never touch it again.
That's actually quite an idea.
Bah, very prepared milk.
Wow.
I'm just kidding. Please don't do that. Later Mira will scold me. You mean this was your idea?
No, I said okay. I mean, that's okay. Maybe not chili, but like something
Yeah.
bitter or what.
Yeah.
Let him know that this item is bad. By experience. Well, that's a good idea. Okay.
I mean, I'm just thinking about like for Rebecca, like boundaries. Like we want to teach kids boundaries, not because we want to. I use this in a sermon once. When we teach people boundaries, we're teaching them. We don't want to restrict their freedom for the sake of restricting their freedom. Sometimes it's for safety, right? Like why we don't want kids jumping on the bed is not because we care about the bed. It's because we care when you fall off the bed. That's the important part, right? Or I mean, so that's one part of it. But then part of disciplining is also morality. The idea of like teaching them what is right and what is wrong, what is good, what is not good. But obviously at like Rebecca's age, or even at Caleb's age, the idea of morality is very gray. Like it's very hard to teach them because they're not able to understand it. And also things that we think are right and wrong are not necessarily moral choices, right? Like for example, Rebecca, she loves to throw things on the ground. So she will like, if I put, so I have a shoe cabinet that I put all her toys on, right? And she will basically every morning after she drinks her milk, without fail, after she drinks her milk, she'll look at me and smile. She will push her way off my body, slide down to the floor, crawl to the shoe cabinet, stand up, and proceed to throw every single toy on the ground. Like she doesn't care. But she's not doing it maliciously. In fact, she throws her first toy on the ground. Then she looks at me. Then she smiles. She like grins. Like she's like looking at me for like approval. And initially, to us, right, like throwing things on the ground is not a right thing to do, right? It's
Yep.
rude.
Yep.
It can be dangerous for other kids also if they're running around. But for her, she's not doing it maliciously. And there's no way I can teach her the idea that, that throwing things on the ground is dangerous for other people. It's like socially not correct. So instead, I just kind of let it go because it's in that context. The boundary is not important to her at this point. But obviously, if she's 5 years old and she's throwing things on the ground, that's a totally different story. Yeah. So I think in some respects, the idea of trying to like what Justin said, of pulling out the emotion out of the concept of teaching the kid object lesson is important, because if they associate the emotion with the lesson, then all they'll respond to is the emotion and not the lesson, right? So like what I said, if all they think about is, oh, he's angry, I need to stop, they won't remember like, oh, I stopped because of this reason, right? Because it's dangerous.
Yep.
And I think Marv had a very good point there, in that in a setting like this where it's really not really her fault, removing the item or removing her from that situation, giving her something else to
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
so
I actually.
my wife
Yeah,
is
sorry,
saying
go
this
ahead.
sounds so familiar because Meredith does the same thing. She goes to our dining table and she just sweeps like all the remote control and everything off the table.
Yeah. Yeah. So the thing is, for her, right? For Rebecca, she likes to also touch electric sockets. Like for some
Oh.
reason, I don't know whether kids are like drawn to incredibly dangerous items. Like it's just like their natural.
the wall. They
Yeah,
really
she will like stick. She was, the three pin socket, right? She will stick her little pinky into that hole. I'm like, this is like the most dangerous thing you can do. Don't do it. So in the end, I had to buy like plugs to plug it up, lah. But anyway, so what I do to distract her, right? Because she loves throwing things on the ground, and she doesn't like when things are ordered. That means when it's stacked up. So I have these stacking cups. So literally, when she's going to somewhere very dangerous, like to the I don't know to the sometimes it's dirty, right? Like go to the trash can. I'll literally like purposely stack up the stacking cups, and she will literally like look at it and she'll like, wait a second. Why is it stacked up? Then she'll target the choir and like crawl really fast to knock it down. And then she'll crawl back to the trash can to try to go back again. Then I will stack it up again. And she'll just come back and forth.
See what my wife
So
says?
Something reminds me of
yes.
Caleb used to do with his potty. His potty had 4 parts, so always stack it nicely. He always wanted to take it apart. And that was when he was about Rebecca's age. But now he's sitting on the potty, he knows how to use it. So
Yeah, I don't know why. Kids at the age, they
Yeah,
just
it's such an interesting. Are they learning something? Is it something that's developmental that they're trying to? They like to see things in its parts, or they like to see things collapse. They like things fall. I don't know.
I don't know. So
they learn
Meredith has the same thing. She has this like stacking toy. And if you stack it up right, she will go and knock it down. As long as she sees it stacked up, she will go and knock it down.
I think they're learning causality, that
Yeah.
they have power to do something. They
Yeah.
can call
Yeah.
and they find that very amusing.
That's what Cheryl said. Also, cause and effect. They're finding out
Yeah.
that if I move this, my hand across it, and it hits something, the other things will fall as well. That's what you're saying, right?
I find it very funny.
Interesting. Yeah.
But okay, I think there's a third element. You mentioned the morality and all that. There's a third element in when it comes to this, and it is whether we need to clean up after that.
Yeah, that's true.
We don't have a lot of energy, and it's one thing for my kid knocking down plastic cups. It's another thing for him knocking down cups of water. And I may get a lot more upset with him knocking over cups of water because
just to
there's a lot
clean
more
up.
cleaning up.
That's
But
true.
it's only because there's more cleaning up.
Yep.
So actually, I realize it's quite important if we have enough bandwidth to clean up. If we're not too tied up by other things.
That's true.
Okay, I became so much more patient with Caleb during my 2 weeks of leave when I didn't care if he messes up a bit more. So I'm like, just drop it off lah. It's fine. But when mom comes home in the evening, she's like, hey, why are you allowing this? So I realized, I think at that point, when if I didn't have that much time, I would probably be scolding him for the same things. But then I realized, it is a lot to do with just our sense of cleaning up too.
That's true. Maybe that's why Marion has so much bandwidth to let her play for food. I cannot. Like when I feed Rebecca, right? The spoon stays here and it enters your mouth in a particular way, and none of it can touch your face or your hands or any part of your body at all. But for Marion, it's like just leave it there, let her play. Go in your eyes, everywhere.
One I'll clean everything.
She
No,
goes
but I
with the
ended up
baby
cleaning.
led lah.
Yeah, the baby led feed. Oh, but Marion doesn't really do baby led feeding. As in, she will still feed her, but she lets Rebecca play with the food. Like, so Marion will, like, let's say she cooks something like broccoli, pumpkin, and some like rice. So Marion will literally take out the three components. So she will mix everything in one big mush for Rebecca to eat, right? But she will take out like a stalk of broccoli, a patch of pumpkin, and like some cooked rice at the side for her to play. And if she wants to put in her mouth, she can. But it's for her to understand like the food she's eating. Yeah. So which is very interesting. Like, I mean, I wouldn't have the time for it. Like, I'll just be like, eat it. But Marion is very like developmental, you know. It's like now Rebecca, she's making for her mac and cheese. Veggie mac and cheese. I'm like, wow, we don't even cook that well for ourselves. But yeah. Yeah, so it's an interesting topic. I think we will, as they get older, the concept of discipline gets even more complex because then the ideas of morality come in even more. But segueing into that, talking about our lives as children, let's talk about Pokemon, our childhood game. So I know Marv never played. He didn't play. He didn't have a Game Boy.
Yes, but I have played. I say I played one of the red, blue, and yellow lah. Eventually, when I was older.
Without a Game Boy.
Yeah. So
He
when
emulated it.
I got to JC, then I had one of those Nokia flip phones, the very big and bulky ones that you could install a Pokemon emulator on. Yeah. So that's when
he did it the hard way, Justin.
Yeah.
He didn't do it the
My Nokia phone plays Snake.
no, not that
not
low
that
level.
old. Yeah.
Not the
It's
3210.
How old are you?
it's one of those that I'm 1 year older than Ian.
Huh?
It's
Then
one
how
of
come you're not-
those that you can flip, then you can turn it so that it has a camera, you know.
Can lah, just. It's like last time we had the Engage. Even the Engage can technically play Pokemon.
Okay, let me find a picture of it.
I mean, it has the capability of doing it. But anyway, while Marv tries to find a picture of that, Justin, can you share with us what was your first interaction with Pokemon? Like, how did you get into Pokemon?
Okay, at that time I didn't have a Game Boy yet. So someone, I think probably one of those church camps or something, let me play on their Game Boy, but told me I couldn't save because they had their own save file.
Matthew,
No.
Is it
Because, that time, no, only around my age. I'm really not sure who. Might have been another Ian at that time. And so the huge Pokemon, and I just played, and it was great lah. I really enjoyed. So from that point on, I thought, okay, I really want to get a Game Boy. So eventually, I must have done well for some exams, or my parents felt sorry for me or something. They got me a Game Boy Light. I was one of those. The Game Boy Light only appeared for a very short while, and I was
Yeah.
super proud of it. So I got Pokemon Red at that time, and yeah, man, the rest was history. I really enjoyed it. I don't think there was before that. There was never a story-based game like that. You always had your Mario, you had your motocross, you had all
RPGs, right?
wow, that was a game changer, man.
Okay.
Justin, if you are
Before-
on Twitch, you can
See the
see the
phone you're
phone
talking about.
that I'm talking about. Yeah.
Okay, but I've got a very important question that I must ask all of us. All right. So this is the question that we must establish, and I think Marv tried to establish it for Meredith, and that is: are you Team Charmander, Team Bulbasaur, or Team Squirtle? All right. On the count of three, say which starter Pokemon you chose. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Bulbasaur.
Charmander.
What did you choose, Justin?
Justin says Squirtle. He muted himself.
Oh my gosh, we are literally red blue.
So
And-
Meredith chose. I did the crawling thing. I bought
Three
the
plushies.
3 plushies from the Pokemon Center, and then she did the crawling thing, and she chose Bulbasaur.
Twice. He chose it twice.
wow.
So I was like, you're no longer my daughter.
I must say though, I mean, on hindsight, there really are better and worse starter Pokemons depending on which game you're playing. Because for someone who chooses Squirtle, eventually you're going to end up with a Gyarados. You don't really need
Yeah.
a Blastoise and a Gyarados in your team. So,
No.
yeah.
If you were to play to min, okay, this is so nerdy, but in my opinion, if you want to min max, I think
Bulbasaur is the way
choosing
to go.
Bulbasaur is the best way because there are
Yes.
very little good leaf
Yes.
poison Pokemon. There's only one good poison Pokemon. I think Vileplume is the next best. But apart from leaf poison is hard to find. Fire, there's so many. I mean, there's literally a legendary bird that is fire.
That's true.
And then what is the other water? There's Gyarados, and he's
Yeah.
very easy to get, right?
Yeah.
So
And yeah, I think it's even more the case when you come to Go version. Because your Mewtwo in Go version is a Firebird, and you have a red Gyarados who's an even stronger Gyarados. You just have to choose Chikorita. And Bulbasaur is such a difficult starter Pokemon in the first Pokemon because Charmander learns Ember, Squirtle learns Bubble, Bulbasaur learns Leech Seed, so useless against Onyx. Leech Seed, how to fight? But Chikorita learns Razor Leaf as the first attack.
Yeah.
So that
true,
made a
true.
lot of
But
You know-
Bulbasaur is the best choice for early, like the
Yes.
first 3 gyms, right?
Yes,
They say lah,
because you need to kill rock, water,
and then
was it electric?
electric, yes.
Lightning, right?
Lieutenant
Yeah.
Surge, yeah.
honestly,
But-
it doesn't make a difference.
Yeah, so the game is so easy anyway.
I mean,
Like, you know,
when you were that age, it wasn't that easy. Come on.
when you face the Final Four, Fantasy Four, Final Four, right?
Final
I
Four,
think-
Final Four, yeah.
It's called the Final Four, right? Fantastic Four. you see Invisible Woman come out. Alright, but when you face the Final Four, and then you face, I think after you face Final Four, you face. What's it called?
Elite
Elite
Four.
Oh, Elite Four. We got it all wrong. Justin is like, are you sure you're Pokemon fans?
The thing is confirm rock type.
Yeah. No, it's so funny because I think you tried to come up with 6 Pokemon that is like gonna fight the Elite Four the best way, right? But I think in the end I killed everybody with 1 Pokemon. I didn't even switch the Pokemon.
Oh wow, you are a different level.
Like I think it was like I think Yellow, it is possible to beat the whole Elite Four with just Pikachu.
Oh, the yellow version Pikachu is a different.
Yeah, the yellow version Pikachu. So if you choose, because the yellow version Pikachu is like max stats, right? He's like the best type, so he can. Yeah, but anyway.
Yeah. IV 100.
IV, I want. Yeah. Do you know that the Japanese names of all the Pokemon are different?
Yep.
It's so interesting. I think that was going to be my first
Thing that you learn.
goal to go and memorize all, because we know, because they're all named after like Squirtle is like he squirts bubbles out of his mouth. That's why he's called Squirtle, right?
No,
Or Bulbasaur is because he has a
bro.
no.
Squirtle is a squirrel and a turtle.
Oh, really?
Yes.
No, but I'm sure that there's some squirt. Squirt is a double pun. Really?
Yeah. He's
Really?
literally a squirrel turtle.
Yeah,
Do
I
you
know,
not
I agree
realize?
with that.
Water and water.
No, okay, no, I agree with that. I'm just saying that I think, isn't it also true that like there's the squirt involved?
Look at Jamie's laughing at you.
So Squirtle's name is actually Zenigame, which doesn't have any meaning.
Yeah, a lot of them
But
don't have.
but Charmander is correct. Hitokage is like
Charizard is Lizardo, right?
Lizardon.
Charizard is
Yeah,
Lizardon.
Lizardon, yeah.
Lizardon. Yeah, which doesn't make sense. I think the English naming conventions are
Cooler,
usually
right?
better than
Yeah.
Like Charmeleon is Lizardo and Charizard is Lizardon, which is like doesn't even make sense.
What kind of rice dish is that? Lizard with rice. Yum yum.
Lizardon.
I did learn most of the English version of the Japanese names because I played Pokemon Pinball. And I think my Pokemon Pinball, some half imitation version that was like someone half translated it into English. Oh, but that was such a nice game. Pokemon Pinball
Pokemon Pinball?
low in my life.
Oh. I don't
Pokemon
think
Pinball.
I've played any Pokemon other than the mainline games.
Oh. Pokemon Pinball was on the Game Boy, and the cartridge had vibration. So there's a separate AA chip you put inside the cartridge that will make the thing shake for
the bumpers? For the
Yeah.
bumpers?
So
Wow, that's haptic feedback show in a Game Boy game.
There's early
Early
Yeah,
adopter
early
of haptic
haptic,
feedback.
Yeah,
Wow.
I really enjoyed that one. After Red, I went on to I played a bit of Pokemon Pinball, and then I got one of the original Go versions, but that was Japanese. So I was super crazy about Pokemon. Went to the shop, and then they said, "Oh, we have the new version just in from Japan." I can't read a word of Japanese. I couldn't understand any of the things that were going on, but I had a ball of a time. So
Nice,
it was,
nice.
but I got stuck at a certain point because at one point in time,
I
someone
didn't know.
blocks the road and tells
Yeah.
you, "I want to give you Togepi, the egg." but
Yep.
I had no clue what he was saying. I thought and I didn't know what to do about it. You had to walk in with 5 Pokemon. So I was only at like third or fourth batch. And I just stayed around there leveling up my Pokemon until everything was fully evolved already, level 36. And then I accidentally walked by with 5 Pokemon and boom, I finished the rest of the game really fast. But the moment that you finish the Elite 5 and you can sail back to the red and blue world. That was
Kanto.
goosebumps, man, that moment. I'm like, this
Ooh.
is
Oh, you can do
amazing.
that in Go?
Yes, in gold you get to go back to Kanto and
I
you
didn't
fight
know that.
and you fight the original 8 once
Oh,
again.
that's so cool.
Oh, wow.
Except
I didn't know
Koga,
that.
because Koga is now in the Elite 5.
But
So
wouldn't you trash them with your levels?
no, all their levels are higher.
Oh,
It's like New Game Plus, you know?
it's New
Yeah.
Game Plus.
Incredible. So I
Oh,
thought it
that's
was
cool. That's a lot of replay.
fun, and that was the most fun I've had. That surprise at the end after the credits roll, you think it's all over, and then you find the 8 more badges to collect. Oh, that was awesome.
Oh, man. The number of hours you must put in is crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
Although
can
they
tell
do
it's
they do say that if you want to learn Japanese, the first if you want to learn Japanese from a game, the easiest game to play is Pokemon.
Mm.
Because there's a lot of English phrases in Pokemon.
Oh,
I see.
Yeah, like they use a lot of English terms to like all your potions, mega potion,
oh, it's all in
all
katakana.
is
It's like
it's all
the
in katakana,
the
which is like
direct
you don't need to like
transliteration, right?
yeah, direct translation. So it will be like mega potion. Like that will be the direct translation.
At that time, I had a diary. I would write down
Write
the item
down.
in Japanese, and then I'll use it. So I'll save. I'll use the item and see what it does, and then
Wow, that
oh,
is commitment. And then
it was
and then you turn off and turn it back on again to make sure.
Saves
one by
coming,
one.
saves coming.
Oh,
I didn't know how it worked, but
that's high level.
I knew how to use the potions and the max revives and whatnot lah.
That was before Google Translate, right?
But Go version was really tough because there were things like phone calls, there was day and night cycles, there was what's the last one? Items being held by your Pokemon. That was not in red and blue. So it was quite hard to figure out this. At the end,
Wow, that's
guys held only one same item which I knew gave them 20 HP.
that's quite cool. That's like the Pokemon Unite. You can there's like battle items you can hold, right?
At that point they've had held items. So like some Pokemon when you hold the item and you trade them, they evolve.
Ah, yes,
Oh,
I remember
yeah,
this.
yeah, correct. Like you need it, they need to hold it before they can evolve, right? If you just trade them without the held item, it wouldn't. I mean, that was a little bit in red and blue. Not the whole item, but
It must
you
be
have like
traded.
moons. Like you must have a moon. Oh yeah, they must be traded.
No, they must be
Which was
traded.
the
Like
one? Which was the one you
Kadabra
need trade?
to Alakazam.
I can
Something like that.
Alakazam, yeah.
Yeah.
Gengar, Kadabra, Golem, and can't remember what's the last one. Machamp.
Machamp, right? Yeah. And then obviously
Machoke to Machamp,
with-
yeah.
some obviously you have to use items to evolve, right? Like Clefairy and
Yep.
Wait,
And
was it just Clefairy?
EVs. All the EVs.
All the EVs.
Pikachu is himself. Yeah.
Thunderstone. As in some of them you can evolve faster by using the stones lah.
Yeah. But sometimes you wouldn't evolve them too fast, right?
At that
Because
time,
of-
no lah.
At that time you don't know lah.
Wow,
but-
Blaster lah. Wow, can.
Last time it was like you wanted to keep them long enough so that the IVs get max or something before you evolve them to.
Miss the IV. I just want to learn.
Yeah. So it's last time the IVs were hidden, right? The internal values were hidden. And now I know it's not lah. Now it's like you have to go online to see the IVs, right? Do you guys know?
Were at that time, so I don't think there was.
I don't
Yeah,
remember
probably.
how it worked last time. Yeah. I just know
So
that
what?
you don't evolve too quickly because if you evolve too quickly, they don't
don't learn the
learn
move.
a certain moveset that they were
Yeah, they don't learn that
when they're
move.
like say like Charmeleon or something like that.
They don't know.
So what? They don't know what? Sorry.
They learn to move faster when they don't evolve.
Ah, yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So what was your last Pokemon game that you played? Don't tell me. I mean, other than Pokemon Unite lah.
Emerald, I think. I think I borrowed. I
That was on the GBA, was it, or DS?
played on emulator, that one. So I
You play
became
Let's
like,
Go?
Huh?
You didn't play Let's
No,
Go?
he doesn't have a Switch.
You didn't lend it to him?
No.
Send me the Switch.
Yeah.
Emil.
Do you play Let's Go? The red and blue, basically.
Yes, I think I did.
The
Yes,
Let's Go Eevee, Let's Go Pikachu.
Yes, I did. That was really cool too. That was quite fun.
I mean, it's basically red and blue lah. Just with a new catching mechanic and nicer graphics.
Yeah.
Yep.
But wait, what was I playing more during? I can't remember what I was spending most of the time on. Oh no, sorry, I was playing Overcooked a lot more on Switch. It was just before so I asked around for a console, this is the last chance in my life I get to play a console. Can someone lend me a Switch?
Oh, then Sam lent you because he had Evan at the time, right?
Correct. So I got to complete the entire Overcooked.
Oh
I played
wow.
along with my wife, but the last two stages, she said she was very stressed by me, so she asked me to play alone.
My wife is gonna say that sounds familiar.
The final stage was just, wow, the final stage is like half an hour long playing like that. Then she was feeding me at the side, watching.
Wait, you played alone, so it means you had two controllers? Is that what you did?
First I was
For the
doing that.
computer.
I eventually realized you can play two players with one controller, and then you swap controls.
Wow.
Oh my
That
Yeah.
god.
sounds
That's so high
that sounds
level.
horrible.
Yeah.
That sounds
I
horrible.
agree.
I mean, I could toss items from one person and then switch, and then I'll catch with the other person. I was
Oh,
good at
I mean
that time.
isn't that Overcooked 2 though?
Oh yeah, probably Overcooked too.
Because Overcooked 1 you couldn't throw. I think Overcooked 2 only that you can throw.
So
Yeah, but
that's like your people can be on opposite sides, and you can still manage some of the.
to me, Overcooked is purely a multiplayer game. I can't imagine playing
Yep.
it single
I
player.
agree. It's a party game for me.
Let me tell you a story about what happened last time. So I wanted my mom to try Overcooked because it's funny to see parents play computer games, right? And then some Overcooked is actually quite a simple game, right? Because literally it's only two buttons, right? It's pick up something and put something down, right? Or use the same button to like chop the thing or put the soup somewhere. So she literally doesn't know what to do. So I realized that if you never played video games before, right? Your hands cannot multitask. So you cannot move and Q and action button at the same time. Like you literally have to move first, stop, then look at it. Then they have to look down at the controller as if the controller had somehow moved in the process of them moving. The controller had swap positions. They look down and press the button. So with her, what I had to do was I basically tell her to stand in one position, tell her to press the button to pick it up. Then I push her with my character to the next place. Then I tell her to press the button, and then she puts it down. So basically, I think there's a more high level version than what Justin did.
Yeah, man, that
But
actually.
I only played like the first level. I think it was like making onion soup or something. But anyway, how did you know about Arceus, Justin? Have you seen Arceus? Pokemon Arceus?
What's that?
It's the
So
new
yeah,
open world
Pokemon.
Pokemon game.
Oh,
Oh, you haven't?
I heard of it, but I didn't know that's the name.
Yeah.
So
So
the
it's
new
called Arceus lah. Yeah.
yeah.
You know which Pokemon we're talking about, right? Is it Arceus or Arceus?
Arceus,
The
I
god
don't know.
Pokemon, the one that created the world or something like that, right? Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's their new game. It's supposed okay. Everyone thought that it would be open world, like an MMO, like World of Warcraft.
Oh no, it's like Breath. They thought it was Breath of the Wild.
Like Breath of the Wild. Like you can just like explore anywhere you want. You can run from here to there.
It's
But
not.
apparently it's not. So you pick up assignments, and then from the town, and then you go into like an instance version
world.
of that part that you're supposed to do the mission in. So people were like a bit disappointed lah.
That was the answer.
Yeah.
It's a bit limited. But anyway, regardless of whether instance or not, personally, I think it looks like crap. Like the graphics are.
It looks terrible.
So if you there's a trailer, I'll send it to you later, Justin, to go and watch. But it's so funny like I personally think that the formula of Pokemon has been wasted. It's just that Game Freak or the Pokemon company makes so much money out of Pokemon. Like Pokemon is literally, isn't it the most successful media franchise in the world? Like I think money wise, it's made more money than Marvel, Star Wars, like combined. Like in terms of like pure monetary value, because they sell so much toys, so much merchandise.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's the biggest like toy franchise in the world. And so the games have never really changed that much. This is what generation 8? Is it generation 8?
No, more than that, right?
More than that. So there's like what 9-10 generations of Pokemon, and the formula is the same in not a
Yeah,
not a
right.
good way.
8.
8, right? So
Yeah.
I don't know, man. The graphics of Pokemon Arceus looks weird. So Justin, you know how you capture Pokemon in like the old games is that you just go to items, select Pokeball, and then it will throw for you, right? And then like Pokemon Let's Go kind of change it with like your touchscreen, you can twirl your screen and throw the ball, right? But like people would just imagine like, wouldn't it be cool to have an open world where you see a Pokemon, like you walk in the wild, then you see like little like Bulbasaur's running around. You're like, I want to catch a Bulbasaur. Then you run to them and then you engage them in a battle and then you throw the Pokeball. Like that was what people were imagining, but apparently it's not like that lah. So we shall see. It's basically, to me it looks almost the same name of as like original Pokemon. Like what's the difference? Does it look any different?
No, I mean the videos that I watch, I'm like, I think Breath of the Wild has better graphics, honestly.
Yeah.
Is this very
Yeah.
Japanese themed, traditional Japanese themed?
Yeah. It looks like Monster Hunter Rise actually.
Yeah.
Like another Japanese
Yeah.
theme game.
It's
but
exactly
in
like
a
Monster Hunter. Because you pick
but
up a
it
mission and then
looks
you go into an instance world.
and it looks worse. Like 10 times worse than Monster Hunter Rise.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway. So Justin, you also collect Pokemon cards.
Yes, I
right?
do. I've been playing the Pokemon card game online for a very long time.
TCGO, right?
Yes, and I find it quite enjoyable. I started collecting cards quite recently. I think in 2020, I saw a lot of people started to talk about it again, and I thought, actually, yeah, now I actually can afford some of the cards that I've always wanted in my life.
Or so you thought. And then you look at the prices.
Yeah, kind of. So I thought, okay, let's go into this. So I did market research. I watched it over a while. I thought, okay, this is how I want to diversify the investments and all that. I spoke to my wife. She said, you limit yourself.
So
she
use your
gave
own
me
money.
yeah, but like here's the limit. You use only
That's
this
a
amount of money, and if you max out, you max out. That's it. No more. I said, okay, fair enough lah. So I went in, I bought, and so far I've lost a few $1,000. Everything went down. Everything went down. Except Charizard, Shadowless, PSA 10, first edition. Only that continues to rise. Everything else went down. I think the whole world was like me lah. All of us during COVID-19 didn't know what to do with our lives. All started buying. Prices skyrocket. The money goes high. So I buy high and I have to sell low now.
So can you give us an idea of, because I mean I like for someone like me who isn't really into card collecting, what are the prices like for cards?
Okay.
Give me a range.
If you want to get let me see. If you want to get cards to play, that means strong cards. And they may look nice, hollow cards and all that.
But it's very cheap.
It's quite decent. A couple of dollars. I think I at that time I was building a deck just to battle some of my other old friends who all suddenly realized Pokemon cards are affordable. I had to buy a super rares, full arts, $6 each. So that was very reasonable. I thought I could 4 of them I could build a whole deck already. The rest of it is just energy cards and trainer cards. For collection, if you really want to get the pretty cards, you are talking 30, 40, 50, 100 plus. For the really rare ones, and now the things that are rare are the newer cards. They may yeah, surprisingly the newer cards are a bit more because the older cards entered the market already. Everyone who's wanted them has bought them already.
Oh, that's so interesting.
The supply of them is quite large. So the prices are not that high. There are some cards now that are selling at a few $100s, but it's not common. So if you buy like 10 packs, chances are you're gonna lose money because most of the cards are not that worth
Rare.
that kind of money. Yeah. And the super rare ones, you may not even get it in one box. Now, those are ungraded cards. The moment you grade the cards, the price does go up now.
What do you mean by grade? Is there a grader?
Yes, there are several grading companies.
Marv is blood.
Whoa, look at that. So that's a PSA graded card. PSA is the most common grading company used for Pokemon. There's also
followed by Beckett, BGS.
So Beckett tends to be more stringent with their high level grading. So a Beckett 10 is worth more than a PSA 10.
PSA 10, yeah.
But very hard to find a Beckett 10 lah. So if you get your cards
Let me
graded,
just show you, see if I can show. Can you see? Okay, maybe I turn on the light.
No, you can't see.
Hold on. Let me turn on.
Oh yeah, okay, no, actually covered it. Yeah, I see a 10.
Okay,
Follow better.
If you can see, it's swapped, is it? I don't think I can mirror. Can I mirror my?
No, it's not. It's fine. I can read
mirrored?
it just fine.
Yeah,
I can read it.
So you can see that it's 10, right? So you see, okay, for example, this is PSA. So a Beckett has subgrades. Like the Beckett company.
Like 9A, 9B.
No, so they have 4 subgrades and then the final score. So the 4 subgrades
Oh,
would be the corners, the surface, the centering,
wow.
and what's the last one I just did? I can't remember. Corners,
Surface.
centering, surface, and edges.
Yeah.
No, no, that's corners.
That's the corners.
I
Okay,
can't
wait.
remember.
So also they're grading it not on the rarity of the card, but on the
No.
quality of the card.
Yes, correct.
So you could have 2 cards that are the same card, they're equally rare, but if one is
That's right.
like mint condition, then it's like grade 10.
Oh yeah, okay,
There's
correct.
like grade
It's
2.
corners, edges, surface, and centering. I was right. So, if you get 10 for everything, then you get something called black label bracket.
Like,
Yes.
like
So the
whiskey.
label is literally black.
Like
Yeah,
Johnny
it's
Whiskey.
entirely black. I don't know if you watched
No.
the recent. I think it was a boxing match between Logan Paul and somebody else.
The black
So
guy, right?
when he came in, they do like the whole rah thing, right?
Yeah.
He had
was
a
holding-
he had a BGS 10 Charizard chain around his neck. Like
That
he made
is
it
so
into a
nerd.
he made it into a
That
neck.
is so
Yes.
nerdy. Oh my gosh.
But a BGS 10 Charizard now is worth like, I don't know, 500,000, something like that.
Oh.
Yeah.
So he's literally wearing a house on his neck.
Yes. So the boom of Pokemon cards really, like, it came during the COVID period lah.
Yeah.
Like pre-COVID, right? You could probably buy a BGS 10 or PSA 10 Charizard for like less than 100K.
Yeah. I think 10,000 you could get.
Yeah, and then because a lot of these huge
10,000.
like YouTubers and streamers, they
Yeah, who
went
buys
into
it,
the
right?
craze, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it boosted. So for example, this card that I have, I bought this card for like below 100 USD,
Wow.
but it
that's
was last sold on eBay for 2,000 USD.
Wow.
Yeah.
So that's basically pound for pound, that's the most valuable object in your
Yeah.
house right now.
No, I mean I collect Magic cards also lah. So I do have quite a few like Pokemon, Mew and Mewtwo.
Well, Justin is like trying to see what
Yeah.
you have.
So they're all PSA 10s,
In the tank.
and I bought all of them before the boom because I like Mew and Mewtwo. Mew and Mewtwo are my favorite. I bought
Yeah.
them before the boom. Like I just wanted to collect because I started playing Magic, right? So I decided, I'll just go into like I'll buy some Pokemon cards. Like what Justin said. I realized, now I can actually afford. And they were like 40 USD. Oh, buy on eBay lah. Then now they are worth like hundreds and thousands of dollars.
You are the opposite of Justin.
Huh?
Yeah.
It's
But-
the opposite of you.
But I don't
You
intend
bought
to
it
sell them.
casually.
I don't
And you
intend to
know
sell
what?
them.
2020 really made money.
Yeah.
And
because-
if you sold in 2020, you would have earned really quite a bit.
yeah.
So, okay, there were some cards that I didn't lose money on, and those were the recent cards. So, this is the Mew and Mewtwo.
Oh, I have this also.
Japanese version.
Yeah. I love this card.
Oh.
It's very, very pretty. And
Because
this is the
there's two
card
of them.
everyone is using now to battle because it is super, super useful. You can copy any attack of any other Pokemon in your deck. So, this one I really wanted to collect. And it wasn't that
So,
expensive.
so if you play with this, do you like keep them in the sleeve when you play? Obviously, you're not gonna play with it.
This,
lah.
you cannot play with this.
Yeah,
Because
so,
of
so it's when you guys mentioned that the gradings like centering, edges, corner, it sounded like when I went to go buy engagement ring for Marianne, and I was first introduced to the 5 Cs. Right, what is it? Cut,
Yeah.
clarity, carrot,
Exactly.
color, and then you
Exactly.
tell me, oh, not only rings, and you're telling me that actually some Pokemon cards are more expensive than the most expensive diamond ring.
yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
wow.
So
I was telling my wife,
we-
actually, my wedding present, I wanted a Charizard card. At that time, it was, I was willing to put a few $1,000s, but everyone stopped me. They're like, what are you doing?
oh, you should have gotten it, bro. You should have
Like,
gotten it.
But at that
How
time,
much
I maybe didn't have $10,000 lah. So maybe,
And how much would it be worth now?
500 maybe.
yeah.
500K.
100,000?
Yeah.
1,000.
Dude, that's your mortgage. Done.
So
Right.
like
All
one
I
of
can
the
afford is this.
you heard of like Black Lotus, right?
Ooh.
This is a non-shadowless, non-first edition PSA 7.
7.
It's
So-
also
okay.
worth like a good amount.
No,
Yeah.
it's not anymore.
You all heard of Black Lotus, right? For Magic.
Oh, that's a different level.
Yeah. So like a BGS 10 Black Lotus, probably if I'm not wrong, the last one was about also half a mil. US.
Oh my gosh.
So we have a question. We have a question in the chat from Bluebot. Is there a market for investing in Pokemon cards? I know there are Magic the Gathering investors, but I haven't heard of investing in Pokemon cards.
Ask the failed investor.
So for me, I can give like my opinion is that
Yeah.
Magic is the more out there card investing, TCG investing, because it's older and it
Yes.
was what most people like. If you were investing in TCG, this is what people would do.
When you say out there, what do you mean by out there?
Like it's more well known internationally.
Okay,
Even though
okay.
Pokemon is also internationally known, right? But in terms of like investing in a TCG, buying and selling is you're
The
almost
market
like
is
playing in the stock
more
market lah.
established. Mm.
Yep. MTG was like the go-to, but I would say that in the last 2 years, Pokemon has probably shot up to like second in visibility just after Magic for sure. Yeah. Is there a market? Yes, there is, but it depends on where you're staying because, for example, if it's Singapore, right? I think Singapore's market is quite small in terms of investing in graded cards. Yeah, a lot of people do box openings, like they buy a lot of boxes, then they try to hit like the rare cards and they sell it. But if you are grading, because we stay in Singapore, we lose out in terms of like having to mail the card overseas and then waiting for it to come back or that. Yeah, so
So where's the best? Japan, US.
I think Australia is not bad because Australia has BGS, like you can literally walk to the grading center and then pass them your card. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Here's the thing that's happening now. The new cards are not getting graded very quickly because everyone's trying to grade them.
Yep.
So if you can get your cards graded very fast, there's a market for it because there's not enough supply at
Yeah.
that point in time. But you must do it very, very quickly.
So
because
do you think the graders are choosing to limit market supply?
Oh yes, definitely. It's not even choose. They, like for example,
They are.
PSA and BGS during the boom of like during COVID, the boom of TCGs, they actually said that. So it's okay. So the whole process, I've done it before. I've graded my cards before. You choose the level of grading that you want, and the level corresponds to how fast you get your card back. So you can pay like 20
Oh.
USD and then you have to wait 6 months, or you can pay 200 USD and get it back in 1 month. Yeah. So what they did was they stopped all entries, like they wouldn't even take any, and then at the moment now they have only opened the most expensive turnaround time.
Oh.
But you are not going to get it back in 1 month. You still have to wait like 6 months because they have so much backlog. Yeah.
And the crazy
So
thing about PSA now is that they charge based on the value of the card now.
Yep.
Oh. So
Last time
if they
it
know
was-
the card is valuable, they're going to charge you more
Yeah.
to grade it.
Yeah. So
Because they know you.
the tier system is not only how fast it is, but how valuable your card is. And if you try to get your card graded in a lower tier, they will charge you extra. Yeah.
Oh.
So
It's a lucrative business for them lah.
So they definitely are playing the market because they don't want to. Firstly, they want to earn their own profit as much as they can. But they also, if they flood the market with as many graded cards as possible, they will lose income in the future as well,
they
right?
don't really lose much, right? It's just that they had too many people coming on, too many people asking for cards to be graded.
Oh.
I don't see they will just keep making money. What if there are more cards? If they are able to deal with the supply, they should be able to do quite well.
No, but I'm just thinking because right now they can, because there's a premium for grading services, right? I'm just thinking like basic market economics, right? Like if I have like 2 million people that want to grade their cards, rather than me saying I will increase supply, which is I will hire as many graders as I can, and I'll grade all 2 million as fast as I can, and charge like $20 per grade. I would rather keep the price $600 per card for 3 years, keep the market supply low, and I can earn more profit. You know what I mean? That's
But
basic
then you'll be like
economics.
the purple team over there that eventually gets wiped by the green team because there's no
There'll there be other graders that are more
The
important.
two most prominent BGS and PSA lah. But recently there's this other company called CCG that has also started to become more accepted within the so-called high-end trading communities lah.
CCG is the comics one, right?
Yes, the blue
They used to
color
grade
one.
comics.
Yeah.
They used to grade comics,
Yeah.
so now they move into this.
So Bluebot is asking
they-
if there are any graders in
are there
Singapore.
graders in
Unfortunately,
Singapore?
there are no graders in Singapore, but we have grading services in Singapore. There's
They
people on
send it
like
overseas.
So what they do is they say that I will charge you a fee. You send your card to me. I will do all the packing and all the writing, the forms, and then I will send it to you, to wherever, and then they get it back, and then they give it back to you. So a lot of it is based on trust, but there are quite a few reputable ones in Singapore. If you
Here's
don't want to
my
do it yourself,
$3,000 card. Please help me grade it.
can you imagine if you have like a Charizard, a first edition Charizard? You're not gonna send it to somebody to grade.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like
You're gonna take
I
a
would
flight
fly
to
there
Australia.
and get it graded
Take a flight to
and wait for
Australia.
it. I would
It's
pay for the
true.
highest. Yeah.
It's
I mean,
really true.
if it's for $500,000, definitely, right? Why would you take the risk? If just a slight bend in your card and that's $500,000
GG.
down the drain,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
Okay.
But we are
That's
talking
crazy.
about that one single card. Most of the
Yeah,
cards
yeah.
are really not worth that much.
Yeah.
Is there a reason
uh,
why that card is so
I don't know
valuable?
the Charizard card. Okay, for one, the Charizard card was the most powerful card of the first rounds, and then the first edition of it is very rare.
Okay.
So at that time, most people didn't know how valuable these things were. So to find them in a pristine condition is not
Yeah.
too easy.
I was playing Pokemon back in secondary school without sleeves. You know, just sliding it across the table. I kept
mean,
it in
that's
like a
how
rubber
we-
band. I used rubber band to keep my deck.
That's what I remember from secondary school and primary school. Like people just keep
houses, 4 Charizards in one deck.
Yeah.
I had
Last
a
time
Charizard and Dark Charizard deck, like in one deck, like 4 and 4. Yeah, and no sleeves, just like tie it up with rubber band and just play on the table
Yeah.
like that.
The rubber band even broken sometimes. Never mind, you break, die again.
There is. I found another. Most people don't grade Japanese cards because Japanese cards tend to be very high quality and very good finishing lah. Like, so people are quite willing to just buy Japanese cards without the grading. I think if you want to, rather than just going into investing in graded cards, you can also consider some of these Japanese cards, especially the full art new releases. Might also be able to command some value there, especially if you're able to get them fast. But yeah, Singapore, the main problem we have is that it costs 50% of the card to deliver it and send it over, to ship it over in a way that's padded and nice. So by the time it comes to us,
Maybe
also,
I can create a service, Japanese service.
I've been
Buy the cards there and sell.
I've been talking to your wife about that business.
She's listening in.
Yeah, I'm down. Call me in.
Go to Japan just
The main
to buy
problem we
Pokemon
have
cards.
is you cannot read Japanese. So I can't read all. I have to go through the Vacaro sellers in Singapore, third party, to go and buy from Japan. If you guys can buy from Japan, woo, you
I
can
wouldn't
start.
even know. I guess the main stuff would be from Tokyo, lah. Like I'm sure it goes through like main resellers in.
You're
And
going
that's
to
the thing is-
Sendai, right?
Yeah.
Let me see if there's a Pokemon Center in Sendai. I'm sure there is lah.
Are you sure?
Yeah, there is.
Recently-
Tohoku.
When they just launched the new Raging Skies series of Pokemon cards, once again the whole of Jewel was one long circle of queues waiting to go into the Pokemon Center.
To snap up all of the boxes, right?
Incredible.
Yeah.
Do you think that? So going back to the topic of our kids, right? Do you think our kids, like, can I just ask the people who are buying Pokemon stuff now, right? Even the toys and everything, are they young? Or is it mostly our generation who grew up with Pokemon?
I know the cards for sure are the older people lah.
I mean, cards are definitely us.
Yeah.
Kids don't have the money.
I don't want to buy this.
But like now, do you think like other kids like is Pokemon a kids game still?
Yes, I think so. I don't know about Justin, but my nephew, who is like 4 years old, loves Pokemon.
Wow.
Oh,
I think
Isn't-
I told you this story, right? My nephew, who okay, maybe it's not 4, maybe it's 5. Did I tell you this story about him? His mother bought him the guidebook.
Wow.
oh yes, you told me. He
Yeah.
didn't. He
So-
couldn't.
so
he
I
couldn't.
tell-
They
I
didn't have a
tell
game,
Justin.
right?
I tell Justin. So my nephew doesn't have a Switch. His parents or his mom doesn't. I don't know if she doesn't allow him or she doesn't want to buy for him one. But so I have a Switch. So what she did was she bought him the guide to Let's Go.
So sad.
I'm not sure what's it
So
called now.
sad.
Prima Games.
Prima
or
Games.
I don't know.
Prima
EB
Games, yeah.
guys. Yeah.
So
And
sad.
and okay, I didn't know how much he read it until he came to my house and then he saw my Switch and he was super excited. Then he's like, I want to play. And so my mom brought him over and they were supposed to go like swimming in the afternoon.
Oh no.
Then he saw my Switch. So my mom's like, okay, you play 1 hour, then we're going for a swim. Then he started playing, and I was watching him. I was like, he knew exactly where to go. He knew like what Pokemon are in what area and where all the items were. I was like, dude, how do you know? Then he's like, oh, I have the guide at home. Then I'm like, how much have you read of the guide, man? He's like, I know where most of the stuff are.
Wow.
He must have read that book cover to cover, man.
I'm just saying, I remember I heard the story, I was like, this is torture. Like, you can't play the
Yeah.
game, but here's the guide to the game.
So after 1 hour, my mom was like, okay, time to go. Then he's like, 1 more hour. Then my mom was like, okay lah, let you play lah. Yeah. So
You
my
completed the game by the second hour.
my plan was that so at that time the OLED wasn't announced yet. But
You're gonna give him your Switch, right?
I was like, if they announce a Switch Pro with 1080p support, 4K connected support, then I'll be
Yeah.
like, okay, my Switch. But too bad they announced the OLED.
But anyway, it's the reason why the mother doesn't want to buy it, is it not because they can't afford, right? It's
No, I think that's quite funny because he told us that his mom said that no money to buy Switch because we're going for staycation.
oh, that is
Yeah.
that also a convenient excuse. He'll be like, I'll stay at home, buy me the Switch. Goodbye.
Poor thing.
Hey, but Pokemon was something that everyone used to educate us also. What? When I was young, my Chinese was very bad. So I got to watch Chinese Pokemon.
Oh.
That was like the only Chinese show I watched. My vocabulary didn't improve. I only learned all the Chinese names for the Pokemon. I know Bulbasaur is Miaowa Zhongzi.
Wow.
So, wow, I don't even
Right? You know, how do I
I
write this?
never know that.
essay?
妙蛙种子. Wow. So I don't know. I think it's just very interesting that Pokemon is so timeless.
Yes.
I think it's one of those games that and franchises that will last. Like the funny thing now, right, is who I see playing Pokemon the most? Old people.
Yeah, elderly. Pokemon Go, right?
This morning I was carrying Rebecca around my block. I saw this old auntie at the bench. She had 4 phones out and she was
Wow.
I was like, oh my gosh, these guys are crazy. But I was like, are they all her phones? Probably not. Like, she probably helped a friend do, right?
It could be all their phones, like all
Because
hers.
they want to keep the gym, right? That's the reason.
Yeah, and they want more chances to get like a perfect IV lah. Do you play Pokemon
Yes.
Go, Justin?
I used to, yes.
Were you hardcore into it?
Yeah, I wrote the viral article about it. And
Oh, really?
I wrote the viral article about leaving Pokemon Go.
I was also hardcore into Pokemon Go, but couldn't keep up lah.
I remember Mary and I when we first got into Pokemon, when it was first hot. Okay, let's talk a little bit about this because I think it's a very interesting topic. And I think everybody can relate to it because whether or not you played Pokemon Go, you definitely can relate to seeing people playing Pokemon Go when it first came out. So
COVID-19 world.
yeah, this was pre-COVID-19. I remember because that time Mary and I stayed at Marine Parade. We had so literally next to East Coast Park. So I remember when Pokemon Go came out, I think the next day we had a wedding. So we went to the wedding and we came back. We were all dressed, super nice. Mary her beautiful dress. Then we were standing at the park and you see these two people wearing formal suit doing this. Then when Marian plays Pokemon Go, right, first time, right, she wouldn't just throw like that. No. She has to flick very far, so her hand would fly up out of the phone. So it's very obvious when she's playing Pokemon. And then I think that night we were like, let's go to East Coast Park because East Coast Park has a ton of Pokestops, right? And what you could do is you could just literally walk from one end of East Coast Park to one end, and then you walk back. By the time you walk back, right, you can spin all the Pokemon stops again, Pokestops again. And apparently, we weren't the only people with the idea because East Coast Park was packed. It was the first time I've seen East Coast Park so crowded at like 10 to 11 p.m. It's like packed outside.
It was insane at that time.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
What was your Pokemon Go experience? I remember some places had to like write signs, right? Do not come in, right? Because people were actually entering like some premises to spin the
spin
Pokestop.
because they put a Pokestop on the places of
interest,
worship.
Right?
Yeah. Landmarks, basically landmarks. Yeah.
There was one time we were looking out of our office window and there were a lot of people suddenly gathering downstairs. And then we're like, what's going on? What's going on? And then eventually someone said, hey guys, there's a rare Pokemon here now. And everyone took out and started using in the office.
I think that was the case. Like last time I was in CBD, right? So literally, like during the break time, I'll be like, someone will tell me like, "Hey, 5 minutes walk. You want to go catch a lot?" We'll like run down in our formal attire.
It's true. It's true. Boss, I need to use the toilet now.
Oh my gosh! Wow, those were the times.
This really were. The world was a different place.
Yeah.
But I think Pokemon Go was something special because I always thought Pokemon's longevity would mean I can talk to my son about Pokemon. And I look forward to that day. But I never expected a day to come where I was talking to my mother-in-law about Pokemon. I visited. She came to visit from Taiwan or what. Then she could tell me the names of Pokemon and all that because she was playing Pokemon Go there.
Oh wow.
And I thought this is the game that has managed to transcend not
Yeah.
just downwards but upwards.
Upwards, yeah.
That,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
that
it is. Yeah.
is unprecedented.
So
It is by
my
far the game of.
father-in-law
Yeah.
is still playing Pokemon Go until
Wow.
now. So once in a while he'll ask me, got bring your thing lah, which is the Switch. Because he wants to get Melton from Let's Go.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
amazing.
It's
That's
amazing,
amazing.
right? Yeah.
Like
I mean,
they
they're not laughing at us.
they know, like these guys, I would say like our parents' generation is starting to understand what it was like for us to, like, they would like research on, like, oh, like for them they understand what are IVs. Remember last time you couldn't tell the IV, you had to use an app, an extra app to like copy your Pokemon's info into the app.
Yep.
Then you can see IVs. Don't only like, I think when we were quitting, I think when I was quitting, they started allowing you to see IVs. Last time it would just tell you like, this Pokemon is really strong. And it was like a guess. It was a guess. It was like, it was a range, but it wouldn't tell you like the best IVs. So you had to guess. Sometimes you had really good ones. But now I think you can actually see the full IVs.
I don't know.
I think so. I think or at least it's very easy. Like, but this kind of min-max things, you would just think it's a very gamer thing to do. But like my 65-year-old like aunties are doing like, oh, this Pokemon 15, 15, 15, the others all trash, or rare shiny. I only got 3. Then I must walk to, and I think it's very good because it keeps them out of the house, right? The idea that they must walk their Pokemon is a very interesting concept, right? And I think it's. I think if I were to you ask me what's the game of the generation, I think it's by far Pokemon. Like game of the decade, like 20 from game of like the 2 decades, 2000 to 2020, right? I would classify it as a game of the decade. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
So
right. Come to think of it, my 1 year or 2 years before Pokemon Go, there was an April Fool's joke on Google Maps, which was find all the Pokemon. So on Google Maps, if you search around, you could find the different Pokemon, and they'll keep appearing. At first, it was advertised as though it's a real world searching using your phone, and you can spot the Pokemon as an April Fool's joke, lah. But you can actually find them on Google Maps. And I think that inspired the actual game. So I remember when we started playing the game for the first time and seeing that April Fool joke become a reality. Wow, that was really something. I still remember where I was walking to a party.
I'm just wondering what's the particular earlier. I mean, firstly, okay, Pokemon is cute. Like it's well designed. Each Pokemon is very cute and well designed, like Squirtle. But I'm just thinking, like, is it just the allure of collecting that makes it so attractive? Like, because Pokemon Let's Go, I mean, there is battles, right? But to be fair, the battles are very basic, right? There's not much strategy involved, right? In terms
You
of
mean
maybe
Pokemon Go?
Yeah, Pokemon Go.
Now it's a bit more
Nuance, really?
yeah. So now there's actually trainer battles, right? You can either battle your friends or battle NPCs, and the harder battles actually require you to have a proper team setup.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But in a sense, you could brute force if your levels are very high.
Yes,
If the Pokemon level is very high.
but you can meet like high level stuff because now they have like actual quests and stuff in Pokemon Go. So they're like, you have to fight like a certain group of people, like Final Four, no, I mean Elite Four, yeah, something like that lah. So you can't just brute force. You have to have like a good variety of Pokemon. They have to be level up, and you need to know which moveset to use and when to use your block, that kind of stuff.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I do try to think. I think it's also the allure of collecting. Like, especially, I don't know about you guys, but when I first played the original Pokemon Red, I think I had Blue actually. I never really collected all 151 Pokemon. I just chose the my 6 that I was gonna level to like 99
I think
and
there was only
destroy.
150. You
No,
cannot get Mew.
150. Yeah, you cannot get Mew,
You can't
right?
get
Yeah.
Mew in the original.
Or
It's
there's
not
another
behind the truck. You know, there's
it
this.
doesn't.
Justin, you should know about this, right?
I never got 150.
So there was this like
I cheated by
rumor.
using missing no.
Yeah, there was this rumor that Mew is like underneath or behind
The
this
truck, right?
truck
Yeah.
that you had to do something to move the truck away. Right? But I think it's bullshit lah. Yeah,
I
nobody
don't think
has
it's true.
proven it.
Yeah, but do you catch all 550 just?
I came close because I didn't have anyone to trade with at that time. When I finally managed to, I got 148, only missing Vulpix and Ninetales, which I needed from.
Because it was from red. It's from red.
Yeah, either one. I was
Yeah, it's
missing.
from red.
I think it's from blue. And by the time I found someone who can trade it with me, my game got crushed.
Oh
Oh,
no.
that sucks.
I used the missing no cheat a bit too many times. Oh, very sad. I never knew what happens in the end.
So, like, to me, I just found like for Pokemon Go, right? There was a difference between me wanting to, because the tagline is gotta catch 'em all, right? For the original Pokemon games, I never felt like I needed to catch all the Pokemon. But for Go, because that is the primary mechanic, I found it like, oh, like if I see a Pokemon that I really don't have, right, I would rush to get it. I don't know whether that's
Gotta Catch 'Em All is not originally in
does
Pokemon. It
is it
was
not?
okay. Pokemon started in Japan as Pocket Monsters.
Yeah.
Yep.
When they translated it to English, they changed quite a lot of things. One of which was that slogan, "Gotta catch 'em all." It was never in the original idea, or in the original intent. But when you move into the capitalist American system, everything had to be Americanized. So it went from red and green version to red and blue. So there's more American. Even the cartoon, they changed the settings and the wordings and all that. So they're all eating rice balls, onigiri in the show.
They think hamburgers.
Yeah, they'll call it like donuts, or in the earlier episodes, they'll actually airbrush away those things and put in sandwiches instead,
Oh.
just to make it more Americanized. So it was quite interesting. I did a research piece on this in my uni days because that was my only A for an essay.
Your passion.
Yeah, I really passionate. So it was just how it was translated, not just to change the language, but to adjust very much to a different audience and a different culture, making them. Yeah, the Japanese theme song, I think, is about friendship and all that kind of thing, versus the American one is I want to be the best. No one ever was. I catch them all. Very much.
That does sound very Japanese, actually. Like the whole idea of like friendship in an anime rather than
And Mewtwo Strikes Back, for example, the ending scene, Japanese one, they keep it quite ambiguous whether or not Mewtwo is really good or bad. He keeps it very ambiguous. But the American version, they actually extended that scene so that Mewtwo has a long monologue, repent for his actions, all that kind of thing.
And then Pikachu cries, and then Ash turns back into a
And that one
human.
appears in both. But it's just the idea that the Japanese version, they're okay with ambiguous characters. Versus American, everything must end up
must
with
be good and black. Yeah, black and white must be black and white.
So
Interesting.
to see some of these transitions over to a new language and culture.
So talking about like how games are like made and stuff like that. I know, Justin, you made your game. You actually created a game using RPG Maker, right? Was it RPG Maker?
Yes.
During last year. Was it last year? 2020?
Yeah, during Circuit Breaker, I really miss my friends, my colleagues very much. So I thought, hey, wouldn't it be so fun if I could do something for them? I love to give gifts or make something nice, but I haven't been able to do that for a while because people have been a bit annoyed with receiving cards lately. So I thought, why don't I make a game and just do something simple? I found out that RPG Maker, you don't need to code. It was recommended by one of my church friends, and you can just create a game within 2 weeks because there's a 2-week free trial period. So that gave me a lot of motivation. I need to finish this short game in 2 weeks, and I put all my friends in. There's a character creator. I could really make it look a bit like them, or somewhat referencing them. I put in their names, adjusted all of it, and I think it was around my birthday that when you're all wishing me happy birthday. After that, I said, okay, actually, I have a gift for you guys as well, and then I shared it with them, and they were absolutely enjoying it. And then I put it on Facebook, and it started to pick up. One of my friends who was working with, I think, IGN or was related to someone in IGN, she shared it on her page, and then it got a bit of traction in the regional news lah. I think also because at that time there was absolutely no news happening during circuit breaker. There were no events, no one was doing anything, and news agencies were very desperate for anything to write about. So I had my
You
10
want-
seconds of fame.
I thought that okay. So anyway, I'll get Marv to post the link to the game. You can play the game now.
I
those who
posted
are
it
watching.
on our Facebook and Instagram.
Yeah,
So
so you can go check it out.
go follow
It's
us
called-
on Instagram and Facebook.
Yeah, it's called Circuit Breaker Run, and it's basically you have to buy things from the supermarket while avoiding safe distancing ambassadors.
Because you don't have a mask. Your family has run out of masks, but you also ran out of food.
I was playing it for a bit, and I'm like, so you go to the community center that gives out free masks, but the person doesn't let you in because you're not wearing a mask. I'm like, what the hell?
That's the beauty of the game. That's part of the joke.
Then she's thirsty, and I had to go find the drinks machine, but then the drinks machine only accepts coins and I only have notes. Basically, leads you on a wild goose chase.
No, he's limiting the game space. If not, you have to create more script lines. So I thought it was really cool. I think it gained a lot of traction because it was a very interesting concept during a time where there was not much humor about anything, right? Because everybody was like, saying about circuit breaker and staying at home. But can I just ask, like, what was like when you were creating it? Like, what was the most? Was it just like instant? Did the idea come to you instantly? And when you started creating it, did you like run into a lot of like roadblocks? Like, did you realize, oh, I can't do this because the game itself limits me, or the tools itself are limiting?
Okay. I think whenever I try and create something, I'm looking for that. What makes this unique part first? So I was watching when I started to download the RPG Maker, I was trying to figure, okay, what element can I put in my game that will make it enjoyable and fresh? So I started watching some tutorials, and I found there's a tutorial on making characters approach your character. So like if you enter a room, the other characters will come towards you. So usually that starts a conversation. But I thought, oh, that concept, I can use that to make the other characters chase my character around the entire map. So that was the starting point, and from which I built everything on from there. A lot of it was trial and error. A lot of it was working on the game a bit and then going back to the tutorials and then coming back. So I watched a lot of YouTube videos. There were a lot of useful YouTube videos, and I think because I was keeping my game quite simple, I didn't use a lot of features in the RPG Maker. Usually RPG Maker allows for battles. You approach a character and then your battle screen starts. I just turned all of that off. You just avoid safe distancing ambassadors altogether. They're going to include all this additional stuff. And I think so basing it all around that one element, and then as the game progresses, I added more and more safe distancing ambassadors until the last part you're being chased by a whole lot of them.
Zombie. Zombie horde of SEs.
Yeah. In the end, I think that motivation to finish it within 2 weeks was very good. And it helped me get the game done. Because after that, I thought, oh, I want to do another game. There's so much positive reviews on this. People are encouraging me to continue. But there isn't as strong a motivator in terms of, one, what is that one special thing about the game? I haven't found something that will make my next game very much different. And also, the moment you want to create a longer story game, you kind of also need that motivation to push through to create level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4. Versus this one only had 2 levels.
You made a game called The Sovereign. No, I'm just kidding. Or the Karen, I don't know. Or anti-vax community, the war. Get the you're a non-vax person trying to enter Heartland Mall. How do you avoid?
I've been trying to, because I don't like grinding games. so much anymore. So I'm just trying to create a bit of mystery, solving murder mystery or something like that. But yeah, it's just been so hard to get it off the ground. I have had the post-it stuck all over my wall for 2 years already.
Do you think that the RPG Maker is sufficient for your needs though?
Yeah, definitely. I still don't know how to
Okay.
code and program. I found a few ways to get around some of the
Yeah.
problems inside, but for all intents and purposes, I my
Mm.
game my games are story based lah. I like story based games. I'm
Yeah.
always attracted to RPGs and more the story than anything else. So yeah, that's the focus of my game.
So would you say like for you the joy if you could like get someone to do the technical aspects of like basically if you could just write the script like because so they are in when I think in game development, so there's something that I enjoy watching documentaries of how games are developed, because nowadays, back then you could develop a game with like 5 people, right? Some games are created by one creator. So Stardew Valley, right? One of the best
Yeah.
games that
Yeah.
has came out. It's just a farming simulator named created after a guy who loved old farming simulator called Harvest Moon, and he created this. He's one person. He created this huge game, and it's very simple, but it's mind blowing what you can do in that game. But I think if you to track like AAA games development now, like how you make a Call of Duty or how do you make a huge PlayStation 5 game now, there are so many like the fact that the game even runs is a marvel, because there are so many moving parts. But the cool thing about like I would say like from what you say, like the idea of a story designer, a person who writes like not doesn't write code but writes the overarching story of how the game is supposed to go, and then what are the scripts, what are the dialogue. I think like can you imagine for you if someone could code or someone could use RPG Maker to its fullest and all you had to do was write the story
I
and the
would be
dialogue.
so excited. Honestly, I'll be so excited about that. Yeah, I think that's my favorite part of the whole process of this. And I guess a lot of the time I spent on this was in writing out the conversations,
Mm.
and the branches of conversations that could possibly happen with each character.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really
Yeah.
enjoy that part. You're right. That would be a dream.
Yeah. Because I think for RPGs it's a bit different, right? Because when people think of a game, they might think of a very linear experience, like
Yeah,
it's a straight line. But even linear experiences can have very varied responses. So, for example, people don't really realize this, but when you ask someone, like in a game, for example, if someone asks your character a question and there's two answers, right? You could be very lazy and have both answers react the exact same way. And most people, if you were to play the game, you wouldn't know unless you replay the game and you choose a different answer,
yeah,
right? But then that's how some game designers cheat the system. But not only do you have to design two responses from yourself, you need to design two responses from that from the person that's talking to you, and
yeah,
then from there you can branch off into multiple
yeah.
different stories. So it can be very it can like just thinking about how much story and how much branching dialogue can create from just one scene.
Yeah.
It's kind of mind blowing.
That initially was what got me stuck when I wanted to make the story longer than 2 levels. But even RPG Maker has a bit of a solution back into that, and is that certain choices or conversations can add certain points to certain characters. So if I always choose A, it could add certain points. So later on, they'll just check back. If it's more than 5 points, I can give it this reply. Or less than 5 points, give this reply. So
So a step check.
yeah, so the different decisions you make just add a little bit of a few beans to this or that chart, which will cause a slightly different ending. So you don't need to over program different endings, but the little interactions do make an overall difference. So that's one way I was thinking, but I haven't got started on that. I'm a bit distracted now
The
by
assets provided by RPG Maker, they are like easy to use, I would assume. So is it like just drag and drop?
Yes, drag and drop, customizable menus, not customizable menus, drop down menus, and character creators. Is a lot of options there also. Like choose the eye that you want, choose the hair that you want, adjust colors, and then they can generate the different expressions for you. So quite convenient.
How is the variety though of like assets provided?
For the pay.
Oh, you have to pay.
You pay.
Okay, so that's how they
You
make
pay
money
for
lah.
yes, that's how so the base game is quite, I think the base game goes on there's now it's on RPG like MX or MX5 or something. I can't remember the name, but But anyway, like I know like the base game can be very cheap when it's on sale. It can be like $15 or $10. But then you pay for the sprites, the assets that you want, right? Just
I made Circuit Breaker with just the basic ones that
base.
are provided by the RPG maker. The thing is, I bought additional sprites for my next game because the games are going to look exactly the same in terms
Yeah.
of the environment if I don't use a different sprite.
Yeah.
But it also can be cheap lah. It's not usually not
Yeah.
that expensive.
I mean, they'll have like a Japanese theme sprite, right? Then your houses can be Japanese themes or like European theme. Then you buy that like assets, right? Sprite. But you couldn't design your own, right? In RPG Maker.
I think
Like if you didn't have, could you draw it in, for example?
I don't know whether you can draw it directly into RPG Maker, but you could probably use some of the other apps, and it's not difficult because they are very small.
Or then upload it. But
Use Paint to just create some of those assets as well. It's just quite tedious lah, and my interest area is not so much there.
Okay. That's cool. We look forward to your next game when it does come out. See whether your next game come out first or Star Citizen comes out first.
Probably more likely going to. I'm probably more likely going to design a board game before I do this game.
Most likely, both your games won't come out lah.
That's true.
You should crowdfund your game.
To continue development.
So
Just
what
say you
does he need
should
to
crowdfund your
He has
game and
all-
then get
He
400
has all
million.
he has all his assets. He doesn't need any crowdfunding.
Crowdfund to pay for more assets.
That's true. Who
Crowdfund
will
to
pay? Yeah. So, do you have like? I mean, we're almost at the end of the podcast, right? Do you have anything you guys want to add with regards to any of the topics that we mentioned, or even anything else, whether it's Pokemon or game development or family?
Yeah, follow me at Just Indie Games on Instagram. All my Insta stories only got like 10 views. It's very sad.
Actually, can you tell me a little bit what does Just Indie Games? What does it do? What is it for?
So I started it because I started it after I created the Circuit Breaker run, and I was doing it to update some of the interests that I have. So Pokemon cards, a lot of Lego that I've been building, and lately some of the research that I've been doing into dice games. So I used the excuse of developing a board game to buy a lot of dice related games. So yeah, I put a lot of this up on the account. It's my I think it's where I distress also and just sometimes talk about the stuff that I enjoy. I don't always like I have two different feeds now. One is just game stuff on Instagram. The other is people lah. But I usually spend more time on the game feed. I'm sorry to all my friends. It's just I don't like to compare my life with your awesome lives.
Jamie does Lego, so I saw her building like I think a car or something like that.
Oh, Justin. I mean, we all love Lego, right? Lego is like it's our toys.
I would love to own one of the collector's series Star Wars stuff.
The Millennium Falcon one, is it?
I don't know, man. Any one of them, but the prices are like thousands. Like more
Actually,
than 1K.
Justin. So I gave two of my bigger Lego sets to Justin because I'm not gonna bring it to Japan. So, but Justin found this like small community, right? That trades.
I posted on the adult fan of Lego group in Singapore on Facebook. I said I have this Imperial Star Destroyer this size. I'm looking to trade. So people on that account are not really looking to trade, but I just said I'm looking for anyone with a similar value item so I can just build. And this guy came forward, also named Justin, say, okay, I have the Volkswagen camper van and a Mini Cooper. Do you want to trade for that? So I did lah. A few pieces missing here and there. I just bought from Bricklink, but it was awesome. You can see the remnants of the BMW van that after my son destroyed it.
Oh no. Oh no.
So I just put it back together. I enjoy building it, right?
Yeah,
how much
that's the
is
fun
it?
part.
What is it worth? Like the value of either of them.
I bought my Imperial Star Destroyer, the one I gave to Justin for like 200.
Yeah, the two sets I got, I think one should be about 100. The other is maybe 200. So I think I earned a little from this trade actually.
I know it's crazy that Lego is so expensive.
Yeah.
And you're
So, okay,
I enjoy displaying. I got no space to display.
When you're a kid, you're like, Lego is a kid's game, then the kid's toy, how expensive can it be? Then I go to Lego shop, then I look at Star Wars. 1,003, I'm like, okay. okay.
But okay, I would say right that I think if you think of it as a collectible, right? Like you if you have place to store it and like showcase it, it's actually a very interesting hobby to have. It is a very expensive hobby, like collectible, but it is like fun to. I love to build. Like, but then so I think there are different kind of Lego builders, right? There are people who enjoy building fixed sets.
Yeah.
Right. So that means they already like if there's a Star Destroyer, like I'm just gonna build a Star Destroyer. Right. But then there are people who enjoy the creativity of like taking just blocks and creating something brand new. And I like there's the new creator, it's not new lah, but there's the creator series, right? Which is like people submit their own creations to Lego, right? And then if Lego thinks that it's worth selling, they will actually release it. So I remember the one that I thought was really cool. Was it the Harry Potter book? Is it a book? It's like a book that it's Lego, it's a Lego book, but when you open up the Harry Potter book itself, inside is like a castle.
Oh, it's not Harry Potter. Those are
Is it Harry Potter? What?
there was
I
Jack
don't
and
know.
Beanstalk. There was
Oh yeah, maybe it's Jack and Beanstalk. You're right. Yeah.
those were really really cool.
Yeah.
I really like building Lego, but I really don't like displaying them. So actually, if people can tell me what's a good set that I can keep rebuilding, I would be quite interested because a lot of the
Ask
sets once
Jamie.
once you're like, okay lah, that's about it. And a lot of them are very specific pieces that like the Star Destroyer, it's just flat grey panels all the way. I don't know what else I can do with this. So yeah, I'm looking for a set that I can keep rebuilding in different ways, but if I'm gonna
Maybe
buy
there's the 3-in-1s. Have you heard of those before?
yeah.
I
Those-
think I had one. Yeah, like you can with that set Lego piece they let you build 3 different like settings, right?
yeah.
But usually
I,
those are small.
I'm tempted to get the crocodile one. I loves crocodiles also, so I thought I can get this for him. And then my wife is like, "Can you please buy age appropriate things?" And I'm like, "But it's
Yeah.
my."
I mean, Caleb will probably try to stuff it in his mouth.
Oh
But
yeah,
then that's where
problem. That is, yeah.
that's why you lather it with your chili padi idea.
Yes. Okay. You see this? I built this for him. He absolutely loved it because it moves and it has wheels and all. But he went to bite off the light, and
Yeah.
he damaged the piece so much that it cannot go back in. So I got
Oh my
very angry
goodness.
with him and I had to sit
Oh,
down with him.
I thought you were angry because you were afraid that he was going to swallow it.
Oh yes, that too. Yeah, but
You
I
can
guess
dock it from
he
his
might
allowance.
joke.
yeah.
Yes, I told him no because it's not safe. Oh,
Yeah. Marv, do you have anything you want to plug or to add?
Watch Squid Game if you haven't watched it yet. I know we're
Have you
talking about
finished it?
Yeah, I finished it in like 2 days. So
Oh,
Yeah.
I just watched episode 2 with Marianne. Justin, have you finished watching it?
I watched a story recap, so yes.
Oh.
nice.
Oh.
Wikipedia.
I got no-
Yeah. I will say that after watching just the second episode, they do give you a reason to care.
Wow.
Yeah.
Like you care about those characters and like much more than Alice in Borderland, which is another show that I think is very good. Like Alice in Borderland, I couldn't care less whether any of them died. Die lor. But it's not as in die not in a very callous way, but like I have no reason, I have no stake. I don't feel for you as a character.
Mhm.
But this one it kind of like pulls at your heartstrings a bit lah.
Yeah. I
So
would say
I'll
the
watch
character development in Squid Game is good lah. Even if the games are very simple, but yeah.
Okay. If not, thank you guys for joining in today's podcast. I think next podcast I should finish watching Avatar: The Last Airbender. I'm on episode 12 episode 13. No, actually I'm almost done already. He has learned firebending, so I'm like near the end already.
Nice.
Yeah.
Can
So
have
I'll let
Jamie
you
back.
guys know how it goes. Yeah, maybe and just about at lah. 2
2 hours
2 hour
about
episode
Avatar.
about Avatar: The Last Airbender. If not, thank you guys for watching today's Two Gamer Dads podcast, and we'll see you next time. See ya.
Bye.
Bye.